Welcome to another exciting episode of Northern Rankings, this time for the Star Wars universe, the show where we ask the audience in a very scientific way to rank the entire universe of one specific film series. And we could not have picked a better time than Star Wars Celebration to be breaking down the Star Wars movies. And I could not think of a better panel than these three people, and maybe a surprise fourth person later, to break all of this down with me. Starting off with Ben Kenobi. Ben, you've had a great week. You got a Disney Plus show this week come out, and you made time to be here. You shaved. I liked you better with the beard, I'm going to be honest. But Ben,
I like the beard, man. I needed a clean shaven for this, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
So
Hi.
So, why did you want to be here to talk about Star Wars? And is there a movie that you really want to see do well in these rankings?
Yes, I love this franchise. Of course, I wanted to be here. Got to rep the Jedi when I can. And the three movies I hope get at least an A tier: A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Revenge of the Sith. Those are my three favorite Star Wars movies. And I just hope some of them get justice tonight.
Justice tonight. And looking, someone who is always a big fan of justice, and my personal best friend now and for all times, Taco. Welcome to the channel, Taco. How are you doing?
That's my handle. Wow. I'm your best friend? You're my best friend too. I didn't want to tell you.
You're my only friend also, so.
Well, you don't talk to me that much, so you must not treat your friends well, or you're really busy. Yeah. No, it's cool. It goes both ways. I should reach out more too. I'm really happy to be back, and it's really weird to be on Northern Entertainment Group and not have like all the control of the Streamlabs like I used to. It's weird to be a guest on here, but I can't wait. I love Star Wars, and I love everybody on this panel, and I'm really excited to talk about the movies I love and crush everyone's dreams about all the movies they love.
And special guest coming to the panel, Marie Wilson, bringing some class to this group. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. And I am so excited to be here because the rankings that I put the Star Wars movies in is so different from the typical rankings. So I am super curious what's going to happen. And I love the movies that I love so much. And the ones that I hope get a, as Ben said, an A or higher would be Rogue One, Rise of Skywalker, and one that I know is going to probably get a D, Attack of the Clones.
Wait, I didn't get to say my three movies.
My best friend didn't get to say his movies. Yeah. No.
Battle for Endor, the Holiday Special, and Star Wars Rising.
Interesting. Those weren't on
no, Force Rising. Sorry, Force Rising.
Nice.
Were you the guy who slid into my mentions this week to say why wasn't the Bad Batch on the best TV shows?
No. And also, if you don't know what Force Rising is, don't Google it. Just do not. It's a very inappropriate joke.
Jeez.
I was waiting for somebody to go like, Mark, come on.
This is a family
No
show.
one caught it. I'm a worse human being than the three of you.
Oh, boy. Do you have actual ones that you want to see go far?
Well, you know them. Do I have to say them? Empire Strikes Back, and Jedi.
All right.
No, sorry, Return of the Jedi. Back when there was only one thing that says Jedi. Now there's Last Jedis. There's only one Return, and it's of the Jedi.
How about Revenge of the Jedi? Eh?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Revenge of the Jedi top tier. All right. Well, with no further ado, we ranked all 12 of the Star Wars films, and starting at D tier, starting at D tier films, nothing got so low that it would be put into D tier.
I only get one vote.
And that makes me very, very happy.
Nice.
But Murray, I'll start with ladies first. What do you think will be the first movie put onto these rankings?
Oh, well, I obviously would not be surprised if the Clone Wars film was the first one that shows up.
And you would be correct. Coming in with a straight 4.0, the Clone Wars movie, just the show, not the entire series. Coming in at the lowest ranked film.
I got a question.
Yes,
so four out of 10. Like
4 out of 10.
So everybody clicked the amount of stars up to 10 stars, and then you're looking at the average.
Yes,
got it. I'm bad at math.
Yeah, averaging at a straight. It's always impressive when you can average out to a perfect 4.0. But that's what the Clone Wars did today. And I'll say, it did receive a few 10s, but a lot of 2s and 3s.
No way! It received 10s?
Well,
aside from Marie, it received more than 1 10?
I didn't rate it a 10.
I only rated one movie a 10. And I rated 4 a 10. 2 movies a 1.
Taco, tell me about the Clone Wars movie.
It is a very unneeded, not very good cartoon. And if you the movie is if you love the TV show, which I do, if you love TCW, you can watch it. But even if you look at it as an episode of TCW or an arc of TCW, it ranks down at the bottom for me. I just there's so many more interesting things in TCW, and not even talking about the last season, which I think most of it's a masterpiece. There's a couple arcs I don't love, but there's a couple arcs I absolutely love. Mm-hmm. And even if you take that out, which was made 10 years after the rest of the show, even when the bulk of the show was made, it doesn't really rank very high in that show. So I kind of, it's very forgettable for me. It's not one I've watched multiple times. I watched it while I was watching the movie or the TV show, just kind of to help fill in gaps. All right, who's Ahsoka? But that's kind of all it is for me. Is if you love it, it's extra bonus content. But I don't consider it very good. I'm sorry, I'm a very cynical person, and I don't like talking bad about Star Wars on mine and Marie's podcast. So I've been saving it all for this one because it's not my channel. It's not my channel. I try not to be negative. It's all right. I'm not a negative person when it comes to Star Wars, or at least I'm usually not. But we are here to give our actual opinions, and I'm not going to say anyone's opinions are wrong. It's just how I feel about these movies, and I'm going to be a grouch. I'm going to be a Scrooge.
Well, Murray, could you, or Ben, you haven't talked yet. Do you think, could you tell me something you like from the Clone Wars movie?
I can tell you one thing that I like about the movie. I have not seen it yet.
What did you rate it then? No, if you want to say, you don't have to tell anybody your rating.
I can't remember. I think I left it blank because
you couldn't have left it blank. You had to give it a rating.
Yeah.
I did went with the popular cast on this one, and I just had 1 out of 10, but I don't know. I never seen it. I never.
Yeah. So you gave it a 5. You gave it a I'm not sure. Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Murray, can you tell me something good about the Clone Wars movie?
She will.
I do want to say this. I actually saw it in theaters.
Me too.
Me too.
So, I remember afterward, I went with my little brother, who's 6 years younger than me, and we, after the movie, we just looked at each other and we're like, "Huh, that was interesting." But I love the series. Mm-hmm. But a good thing, probably the best thing about the Clone Wars movie, is that Jabba calls his son Punky Muffin.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Okay.
Here's a if you want to talk about introduction of characters, so not just Ahsoka, of course, and not just showing us which Anakin we're going to have and which Obi, because the Anakin and Obis are very different from the movie Anakin and Obis because they're right in the middle, and it's kind of this other era, and it's also an era I love. I love the straight up Clone Wars era. It's a fantastic era. Yeah. But if you just look at like some of the side characters, like isn't Zero the Hutt first introduced in this?
Zero,
or am I wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Zero is like, he's Capote the Hutt. Like, he's like one of my favorite characters because he talks like Truman Capote, and he's a slug, and I just love it so much. Yeah, it's a great character.
He's pretty great.
Yeah. I just want to know what happened to Rada the Hutt. Where is he? What's happening to him?
Why wasn't he in Book of Boba Fett?
Well, the people who are making Star Wars do not know, like, they don't watch their own stuff or read their own stuff that much. They don't check back. They don't flip back.
We made Rada the Hutt.
Yeah, you're right. Dave Filoni did make Clone Wars, right? Yeah.
Everyone's asking, where's Ezra? Where's Rada the Hutt? All right. I actually really like this movie, and I think it's just I couldn't remove my love for the show from the movie. Yeah. And I really do enjoy it. And when I'm doing a Clone Wars rewatch, I'll slot it right in where it's supposed to be. And but then I'm always like, oh man, that's not so good. But I do like it a lot. And Ahsoka is my favorite Star Wars character, I think. So I like seeing where she came from.
There's a few Jar Jar arcs that I will easily put over over Clone Wars. Jar Jar has one of the best arcs because they decided everyone's gonna hate Jar Jar, so let's actually have a lot of really awesome, important stuff happening.
Oh, okay. So you're saying
we just look at it through Jar Jar's point of view, but like Jar Jar goes with Mace Windu, and Mace Windu has a lightsaber fight with Mother Talzin. It's amazing, but we get to see it through Jar Jar's eyes. So I'm saying I put Jar Jar's arcs over Clone Wars.
I gotcha.
Maybe the droid arcs I'll put under Clone Wars.
I love D Squad.
No, the droid arcs are the best.
I don't love the droid arcs.
Sunny Day and the Boy.
I don't love the droid arcs.
All right. Anything else to say? I felt like this was going to be the one that I was glad got out of the way first because I felt like it was going to be the one that we had the least to say about. Does anyone have any final thoughts about the Clone Wars movie? Perfect.
Yeah.
Taco.
Oh no.
What's next? What is the next movie that's coming?
Don't do this to me.
This is how the show goes.
I know, but there's so many movies I don't like.
Which one did the audience?
Yeah, but
87 respondents.
I'm gonna say something that somebody on this panel, Marie, has at like a 9 or a 10, and she's gonna hate me forever. Can I just type it in the private chat?
I would rather that we have it on camera.
All right. I got 2 guesses, and
that's not the way.
I think coming up next is either Rise of Skywalker. Can I say another, or do you want me to just end it?
You can get another one if you want.
I think either Rise of Skywalker or Attack of the Clones.
It is at 4.3 out of 10.
Woo!
Attack of the Clones.
No!
There you go. There you go.
Attack of the Clones, 4.3 out of 10. Even though,
I like Attack of the Clones more than some of the other movies. But,
Ben, what's up with Attack of the Clones? We'll come to you in a second.
Okay, I like good stuff in it. There's some really good stuff in it. But what loses me every time I watch it, me personally, is a love story between Anakin and Padme. It does not work for me, personally.
I'm haunted by the kiss you never should have given me.
I love
that. Don't look at me. You're making me uncomfortable.
Oh, I love she shut her camera off. I don't think she likes me staring at her. Yeah, duh! I'm sorry, but I think she just hates how stalkery I come off. Obi-Wan, do I come off stalkery? Yes. We've been trying to get you off this assignment, but I only have one apprentice, so.
I don't like the sound.
Yes, it's rough and it gets everywhere.
How many of his lines became memes for the wrong reasons?
All
of them.
We watched me and my wife, the prequels this week in leading up to Obi-Wan. And every line, not just that Anakin has, but that everyone has. I was like, I think I could quote this entire goddamn movie.
Yeah.
It's
quotable,
perfect.
but not because it's perfect.
Why does Dexter Jetster have a mustache?
Okay. Dexter Jetster bugs me a lot, and it's not the character. I love the character. I think it's some of the best voice acting. I hate that the animation can't spend a split second without him doing something. Like, he's constantly pulling up his pants and like the animators just like smoked their breakfast out of a light bulb, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna do so much stuff with this, and it bugs me because it just less is more with stop motion animation, and it's just like, hey, what do you know?
And
calm down.
All right, obviously we saw the big reaction from Marie, and I want to get those reactions, but just first I just want to say probably the greatest line in that entire movie: if it's not in the Jedi archives, then it doesn't exist.
Oh, Takasa knew. You horrible librarian.
All right, Marie, tell us about.
She gets a lightsaber gun later on.
She does. She is such a bad A in the comics.
She redeems herself.
It's pretty crazy.
Marie, tell us why we're all wrong and Attack of the Clones is great.
Okay, so Attack of the Clones. I am a sucker for when there's a lot going on. And there are certain movies in Star Wars that are far down on my list because there's not much happening. But in Attack of the Clones, there's a lot happening.
There's definitely a lot happening.
And I love it because I can, like, it's just bam, bam, bam. And from my perspective, I get some people won't agree with me, but from my perspective, there is action, romance, mystery. There's just so many different things, different genres. Like, that movie is a multi-genre movie, and I adore that. And Anakin is my favorite Star Wars character, period.
Were you the person in the survey?
Yes.
What the prequel character you liked the most was all caps Anakin 5 exclamation marks?
Probably. I'm assuming that was, yes.
I saw that one and I was like, someone really likes Anakin.
I don't even know who I think I said Jar Jar as a goof. I don't even know.
I think my favorite sound effect in all of Star Wars comes in this movie, and it's Slave One's seismic bombs.
Oh yeah, they're great.
That is my favorite thing when he shows up in Mando and they're flying away, and you get that shot of the back hatch, and I'm like, I grabbed my wife's arm and I said, "He's gonna do it. He's gonna drop it. He's gonna do it."
Of course, sound doesn't travel in space, but that's been a thing.
Shut
since
up!
The beginning.
It's cool.
It is great. It is great, but I do love the idea that they start playing with sound as if it should be in space. They're like, no, this one has like a delay. Now you're gonna start being weird with the sound. Like, it doesn't exist. We all know it doesn't.
Well, it must not be in the Jedi archives.
Can I say a positive? I would love it. All right, I'm going to say a couple negatives first.
I think it's one of a compliment sandwich.
I think it's one of the worst written Star Wars movies, if not the worst written. It really does feel like a rough draft of the script. And I know because I've written a lot of things where I'm like, this sounds really good. And I've given it to somebody whose job it is to edit things. And they're like, this is everything in the first paragraph you should change. I like where you're going, but this is what you should change. And I just feel like somebody should have just went over George's stuff, because I do like where he's going. I do. But so much of it feels like they didn't have a second pass of the script. And it's really sloppy, and it's really wooden, and it's a big issue. So there's a counter. You know, if you can mess up one thing as long as the other thing goes right, and the other thing doesn't go right, and that is the acting. So I have nothing really against any of the actors per se, but George is not a actor's director. He will be the first to admit that. You have people, yeah, and well, so they're in green like literally in front of green screens that don't go much higher than the camera does. So they don't have much to work with in the majority of these scenes. So even if you look like random backgrounds that could just be sets, just are not. Like so much of these movies are CGI. And I feel like they weren't 100% ready for that. But also, if you now have actors in front of nothing but green screens working with tennis balls, you now have to then be an actor's director, and he wasn't. You have to give them something to work with. Not every actor falls like they don't all fault. Like Ewan McGregor is amazing, always has been, always will be. He's really good in this. I love his delivery when he hands back his Anakin's lightsaber and goes, "This weapon is your life." It still gives me chills because he delivers it so well. He channels Ellen Guinness so amazingly. But then you have like everything Hayden Christensen says. And again, I don't think it's his fault.
Not his fault.
But he needs direction. And Natalie Portman isn't great in this. And I love Natalie Portman. She's an amazing actor. Like she just is. She deserves all the acclaim that she's gotten.
Yeah.
Like Christopher Lee and like McGregor are like the two that kind of really nail it in this. And I it's completely on the director's fault, and that is George Lucas. I don't think he's a good director. And those are my negatives. I'm sorry, I can't talk about Attack of the Clones without saying that. So my positives, the entire third act. I think once they land on Geonosis, it is a good movie. It isn't a good part of a movie. No, it is a straight up good movie. If this was an episode of a TV show, I'd say the first 3 episodes stink, but wait until the finale. Because does everybody remember sitting in that theater when all those lightsabers around the Coliseum lit up? It changed me as a person. I was like, it was the coolest.
I can actually directly relate to that because this was the first time in a movie theater when after I walked out, I was like, "Dad, we need to go home and figure out who that guy was." I wanted to know everything about Kit Fisto. I was like, "That's the coolest character I've ever seen."
I loved Kit Fisto too. I love his design. He's great design. Weird name, but great design. I remember what changed was all of a sudden back in the day we had like 3 or 4 lightsabers, me and my brother, and we used to fight one at a time. And guess what happened after Clone Wars? One of us had to. Like, you had to. It birthed Jar-Kai dual blade fencing. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
I love the whole third act.
And I'm glad that we're being so positive on this because
I just shat heavy on the movie.
But I actually really like Jango Fett also. I don't think Jango gets enough credit for being so dope because everyone's like, "But you kids Boba Fett and he sucks." So like you suck.
No, Boba Fett doesn't suck. Jango does though.
No, Django's awesome. He's got the 2 guns. He's doing karate.
He used a dart that can directly be traced back to the dorm he's staying at to kill somebody right in front of him.
Hey, baby, that was part of the plan.
Oh, yeah,
that was part of the plan, baby.
All right, wait.
Can I
ahead,
say
Ben.
something?
Yeah, you haven't for a while. Go ahead, Ben.
I didn't want to say Django, I guess, didn't want to get ahead in life, but also, I want to go back to the acting and stuff. You can also call Samuel Jackson in that bad acting part. But to me, he did not work in this trilogy for me.
I completely agree. He doesn't. You know how hard it is for him not to like say motherfucker? Like it's really difficult.
Yeah.
You know he whispered it after they said cut all the time.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. And I think this is the movie that the acting's not great in it. And,
I'm sorry.
But I think Christopher Lee is obviously, having a lot of fun doing Count Dooku. He's having a great time being like, Not as much as Ian McDermott's having in the next movie, but every time he's doing stuff, he's like, It's like, he's having a lot of fun.
His delivery, when he's messing with Yoda, I think it's Yoda. But yeah, when he like shoots the lightning and Yoda bounces it back and he goes, "Surely you can do better." No, who does he say that to? I just love that delivery. "Surely you can do better."
I think Anakin.
Smug. Right? Is it Anakin? Okay.
I think that's right before he cuts his arm off.
He just has this really great smile, and he's so when he's like going toe to toe with a floating tennis ball that's 2 feet high, and he still nails like all his lines against Yoda. I think. And
I gotta say, I don't care what people say. I love Yoda fighting. I like that he's got a little lightsaber. I like that he's flipping around.
Love it.
And I like afterwards he goes, that was oh my god, I'm so tired. I love all of that. We still got a lot of movies to go through. So Marie, do you have anything else you want to say about Attack of the Clones?
I do want to say that the end, like Taco was saying, the end of it, my favorite part is the foreshadowing when you see all the pre-Star Destroyers and the clone troopers, and I was like, oh my god, this is how it all starts, and like freaked out in theaters. And that section of the soundtrack, oh my god.
Oh, that's something we haven't,
so good.
That's also something we haven't talked about at all. Like the soundtrack, I think the prequels altogether have incredible things, but the Forbidden Love, Across the Stars, love song, 10 out of 10. That's up there with Duel of the Fates for me.
Whoa.
Love it. Oh, I love it, man. I don't care.
I don't know what Star Wars song that's up there with Duel of Fates. I know them like I got a lot of 9.5.
Whoa.
Duel of Fates is a 10.
Where do you put Imperial March?
9.5. It's right under. It's amazing. It's amazing. But Duel of Fates changes me. Like it's every time I hear it, it does something to me. It's one of the best. Like it's one of the best tracks made for any movie. I'm sorry, it just is. And, like whoa, what are we doing?
Save it for even though it does show up in Attack of the Clones. So I guess. But Ben,
I love Imperial March. I'm not ever talking crap about Imperial March.
What's next?
Okay, I'll take a bullet for the team. I'll take it. I'm going to say The Last Jedi.
Whoa, before Rise of Skywalker?
This one actually did surprise me, Ben. And you're incorrect. But Taco it's Rise of Skywalker.
That surprises you?
Wow.
Coming
surprising
in
me it's
at
so high.
4.9 out of 10.
What?
I was thoroughly shocked that this one was where it was. I haven't got to, like, I don't think, I have a very similar reaction to Rise of Skywalker as Taco just talked about with Attack of the Clones, where, like, all the bebopping around the galaxy they do, I'm not a huge fan. But, like, something about Exegol, that just hits me where I am. I like everything that happens on Exegol. I like that. I like that he's shooting lightning at all the Star Destroyers. I like that. I think that's really fun. Yes. But is it the best? No. Is a kiss of gratitude what they were going for there? Probably not. But, like, it's fine. Can she just call herself a Skywalker? I don't think so. There's paperwork involved.
I'm in my personal hell right now. But when you say anything positive about Exegol, just hurts me.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like it's all wet, but like in a different way than Dagobah. I like it.
It's all wet.
I like it. Daniel, shut up.
Daniel, thank Jeebus. Somebody reasonable is here.
All right, Taco. I just said why I like this, but also, but before we, can I say one more thing? Babu Frick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
he is not cute. He's just small.
What?
That's what I'll say. He's just small.
Precious.
He's not cute. He's just small. I wanted to make sure that I got that out before more stuff happened.
Hey, I'm Babu Frick.
He's just small. If he was Ben-sized, we'd be like, this guy's a loser, and I hate him.
This is weird.
He's just small. Taco, tell me why.
I don't
want
to. I feel like I can't wait to get to the movies I like because I hate being this negative. I really do. But I don't have a positive in this movie. One. I don't have one. I think that this movie did so much wrong. I honestly all right, I'll be specific. Okay. So let's talk about Last Jedi, which I don't love. I'm sorry, I just don't. I know a lot of people do.
We'll
But what I do love about it, and as we'll say later, is that Rian Johnson tried stuff. In as much as I don't like a lot of the technical parts of that movie, I think the pacing is really off. I think entire storyline shouldn't be there. I feel like characters are there because they have to be. There's a lot that I dislike, but the decisions that Rian Johnson made, the themes that he is teaching us in that movie of like Kill the Past, with Kylo destroying his helmet, with Rey being just like random junk trader kids or whatever he says, like just like nobody, like, and that's it. I want my hero to be nobody. I'm tired of everyone being related. There's like 3 families in the entire galaxy. I'm really sick of it. I'm sick of every time we meet a Rodian, he's like freaking Greedo's son, or every time we meet I'm just tired of everybody being related. And I wanted Rey to just be a special person, just a person who's just awesome. And sorry, I'm almost done. There's a lot of decisions that he makes, and JJ almost, I might be way overreacting, but I think JJ just spits on all of them. I feel like every decision that I liked that Rian makes, yeah, probably. But I love everything that Rian directed besides that movie. I love Rian Johnson movies. But yeah, I just feel like, like one of the first things that happens is Kylo puts his helmet back together. Okay, cool. And then it's like, oh, wait, no, she's actually special. She's like a Palpatine. Oh my God, why? Like every major thing that he did that I liked, JJ retcons it the next movie. Like, what are we doing? And it epically bothers me. And not only that, but Exegol bothers me. It's called Korriban. It's called Korriban, not in Legends, in canon. And then they changed it to Morriban. And I was able to be okay. It's only 1 letter change. That's fine. They changed it to Morriban. But it was the Sith homeworld. You see it in TCW. It's in their own continuity, something that they consider canon. And all of a sudden they're like, no, they're not on a red planet full of pyramids. They're on this stormy planet with Colosseums. Screw it. We're Roman. We're not Egyptian. Whatever. And it bothers me.
Maybe what you don't realize is in the Old Testament, Exegol and Morriban were used interchangeably.
That's why it looks so much like it.
And on the other side of the planet, all lava and shit. All right,
it's not lava. It's a desert. It's a destroyed planet because of the Sith greed destroyed it.
Right.
Because they harvested it to nothing, and that's why they had to expand as an empire. I'm not making things up. This is Star Wars.
Speaking of someone who loves to make things up, Ryan Payne finally showing up to talk about Rise of Skywalker. How are you doing?
I was good until you said Rise of Skywalker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rise of Skywalker, third, coming in at number 10 out of 12.
Do you want to show them the tier list? Or show them where we're at so far?
Show you where you're at. But what do you think about Rise of Skywalker, Ryan?
All right.
And Marie, I will come to you next as the only other person who's positive.
Keep in mind, the viewers did just have to hear me rant negatively, so too much might scare people away. But yeah, go ahead.
I was backstage and I heard you rant a little bit talking, but I'm going to keep mine very constrained. Anything that was fanboyish of me about this film, it's just off to the side. My main issue was, Taco, you did bring it up, was the contradictions that Rise of Skywalker did over some of the choices that Rian Johnson made in Last Jedi. But also, this part's a bit of a nitpicky for me, but I think it's JJ. Him moving the plot, the pacing. That was the one issue. I mean, if Rise of Skywalker was like an in between from the Last Jedi and whatever the last Star Wars film was, I would be fine with that. Personally, for me, it's the fact that it's a finale. It's the last one, and so far, the future of Star Wars films is kind of left out there in the ether. It does rub me the wrong way that this was the last Star Wars film in this setup of a trilogy. Now, I've rewatched it a couple of times. There are some things I'm not as hard on. I'm not as negative about. I'm not negative about Kijimi. I'm actually forgiving of Exegol as a just.
Hey!
I am forgiving of Exegol. Now, I like Korriban I like the fact that Korriban exists in the in the Old Republic and in some of the Star Wars novels. So hopefully, if they do introduce it, a part of me thinks that Exegol is most likely as another Sith world that Palpatine found, and it's just somewhere that he established his own base. The Wayfinders, personally to me, that I still can't get over because I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to rant too much into it. So I'll just say the Wayfinders was my issue. The reveal of Jesus Christ, Domhnall Gleeson's character as a spy and then killing him off. I didn't like.
Oh my god, it bothered me.
Off.
Yeah, I like Hux. I do.
I understand
as much as
I understand they wanted to. I understand Hux was not that important, seeing from where he started to where he ended. But I would appreciate the fact that he didn't get killed off so quickly. I would have liked it if he was there on Exegol when Kylo turned back to Ben. So then maybe Hux could try to, I don't know, like when when Ben's fighting when he's fighting the Knights of Ren, he beats them, and then he's face to face with Hux, who's pointing a blaster at him. And I don't know, maybe Hux tries to get a shot off of him, or Hux lets him go because he hates Ben so much, he wants to see him lose, regardless if he's the dark side or the light side. I don't mind if Hux died during that final confrontation. I just didn't like how he gets killed off that quickly. But all in all, Rise of Skywalker, I mean, as its own film, if I wanted to recommend it to someone, I will recommend it to them. But as part of a trilogy, it just rubs me the wrong way. I love the score that's in this film. The different worlds, I'm forgiving them because we get to see different planets. I love Phasma. I love Phasma. I like the Aki Festival. There are some good things in Rise of Skywalker. I just don't go hard in the paint over this stuff anymore.
Murray, talking to you, I feel like you've had your heart broken twice in a row now.
Yes.
I knew it was gonna be like this. I felt so bad.
So
I want Marie to know that I love her, and nothing I'm saying about these movies is meaning to harm her in any way.
Why are these people? I'm pro on this, but you're clearly the most pro Rise of Skywalker person. Talk to us about it.
Okay, so you have to understand that when I went to see Force Awakens, afterwards my response was, well, that was lame. And then I saw Last Jedi, and my response was, huh. And then I saw Rise of Skywalker, and I was like, holy crap, this was amazing! So it was like, I finally got the movie I had wanted. Mm-hmm. And Rey. I was not a Rey fan. I was like, whatever, Rey's fine. I don't really care about her all that much. I love Finn. Finn was my favorite.
Yep.
So Rey, I was just like, whatever. And then the minute they revealed that she was a Palpatine, I clapped and yelled. I was like, yes! I was so excited. And then at the end, when she took the Skywalker name, I was like, man, you are one bad bee. Like, you took this background, this blood history that was darkened with evil, and you were like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to be evil. Thank you, Jacka. I'm not going to be evil. I'm going to be good. I'm going to help people, and I'm going to turn against my blood family history and be a better person. And I am defining who I am by taking on the Skywalker name. I am making myself my own person. And I was like, man, I love Rey now. Like, I love her. So it totally changed the way I felt about Rey.
Ben, how do you feel about dyads?
Okay. I have words about this movie.
Okay, here we go.
Answer me this. Yeah. How did Palpatine survive?
He jumped into a clone body.
Force stuff, yo.
Force stuff.
Just force
How did Darth Maul survive getting cut in half? It's
anger.
Magic,
Anger.
Ben.
Nope. Power of anger. They at least say that.
It's all
At
magic.
least give us. I'm sorry, Palpatine should never been resurrected.
No, it should have been funny.
Yeah, I don't like this movie. You know, parts of it I do like. I don't like this movie. I don't hate it as much as you talk about, but
I like
it's a
nothing
real,
yet. I don't hate it.
it's a real main movie, but in my opinion, it's a bad Star Wars movie. It does not fit the trilogy, and it does not fit the saga, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
Preach.
We got a lot more movies to go through, but I gotta say, I like that they ride horses at the end on Star Destroyers. I think
That was cool. That was
think
cool.
that's
I will
really
say
cool.
that. That was cool.
I almost wish that we could do like one like higher up one like move because all the negativity right away, like it's turning me to the dark side. I'm like, can we talk about a movie I like right now?
Hey man,
It's gonna be a while for me.
Maybe I think maybe what we're learning here is Taco just doesn't like Star Wars.
I don't like a lot of Star Wars movies. I'm the first to admit it. I don't love a lot of Star Wars movies.
Maybe
I wish I could.
Who did I come to last? Ben or Murray?
Ben was the last.
Oh
Yeah.
no, Ryan.
No.
Murray. You've had your heart broken twice already. Tell me. I hope that well, I know, but what do you want to see next?
She's gonna say Empire just to troll me.
What do you think's coming next?
I mean, personally, I would say Force Awakens.
All right, Force Awakens is not next. Up next at 6.0, another 0.0. We have a couple. Actually, that's the last one.
It's on the chat.
The great rebrand for you, Taco.
This is why I specifically keep let's not do negative stuff on my show because I know I would shut up about negative stuff. And one more thing, and it would just be too much.
But
just
cracking
don't open that game.
The first movie to crack into the B tier at 6.0 is Solo, a Star Wars story.
That's what I thought.
And honestly, I gotta say, good for Solo. That got a lot higher up than I thought.
Yeah.
Good for Solo. I don't like it very much. Why is Darth Maul in this movie? But
I didn't hate it. I left the theater
I love it.
Okay, I walked out positive, and I think I gave this at least a 5, if not more, because I remember walking out thinking and I'm not talking crap about Rogue One, but I've been very vocal about how if you just leave during the second act and go and get a burger and come back, it's a better movie. Because that's Rogue One though. That's Rogue One. After I went and saw Solo, I was like, I don't hate either of these. I enjoyed the whole movie. There wasn't any time when I was bored. I stayed paying attention and I enjoyed it. That's as far as it goes. I think I've watched it one other time, but I don't love this movie. It's not something I seek out. It's not like other Star Wars where I watch them on my birthday and they center me as a human. But I left going, all right, cool. They did a train heist. Cool.
I honestly think the Rogue One comparison, and we'll talk about Rogue One when we get to Rogue One, but I think I would probably enjoy Solo a lot more if Rogue One had not come out a year and a half earlier, where where there's a lot of direct comparisons I can make in between those two movies, where there's heists in both of them, and there's sassy droids in both of them, and there's a I don't care brunette in both of them. And I'm saying that's their attitude. I'm not saying I don't care about Jin, because I do like Jin Erso a lot as a character, but in every case, and welcome back, Ryan. In every case, I care. I like K2SO more than I like L3. And I like the heists in Rogue One more than I like the heists in Solo. And I like Krennic a lot. I just love Krennic. I think he's a great bad guy. And I think I think I'd like Solo more if it didn't have Rogue One to compare it to.
All right. That's a solid argument.
Yeah, Ben, what about you? How do you feel about Rogue One? Or not
Are we
Rogue One,
talking
Solo.
about
Solo,
Solo?
we're talking about
Solo.
Solo.
Solo. Taco got me on a tangent.
Yeah, I'm wondering since I just got back here, what flew in?
We're talking Solo.
Solo.
I made a
You know what?
comparison, and everyone started talking about Rogue One.
You know what? For me,
Noted. So I don't
the
know.
B level is the perfect thing for Solo. I have fun with it. It's a fun adventure. Is it the best Star Wars movie? No. Is it the worst? No. But I like Alden as Han. I'm sorry. I think he did a fantastic job as Solo. There is stuff about the movie I don't like. How he got his name. That
Hate
is
it.
incredibly stupid.
Solo.
Very dumb. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
But it's a fun time at the theater. So yeah, B is perfect for me.
Ryan, I see you wore yellow in honor of Lando.
Well,
Marie, you as well.
Wow.
So Ryan, talk to me about Solo.
Well, when I first saw Solo, when I finished watching it the first time, I said this on a 60-second quick review on my Instagram that if Star Wars wanted to make their own version of an MCU comic book origin story, Solo was it.
Yeah, very much.
But on rewatches, I still think him getting his name is kind of ridiculous. But the earlier stuff, him on Corellia, him being a street rat, him being in the gang of Lady Proxima, I enjoyed that. I wish there was a little more of that, just like there was a little more of him being a part of the Empire. Because I wanted to see, because I know he has that line, I was kicked out for having a mind of my own. I'd rather would have seen you get kicked out of the Naval Academy and then thrown into the trenches. You know, I would have loved to have seen that. And there were a lot of characters that were sacrificed in service of the story, like Tandy Newton's character, she was sacrificed. The Armenian character. Oh my God, the Armenian character. Ardenian, yes, thank you. I'm forgetting his name, but the Armenian Rio Duran.
We have Marie Wilson here. Just ask.
Funny thing is, I came from Star Wars Celebration, so these names should be fresh in my head, but I'm so exhausted.
Yeah, you just saw Jon Favreau and he voices Rio, right?
Well, no, not today. He was there yesterday.
Oh, okay, big shot. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. First off, what I'm saying, I the sacrifices of Tandy's character, of Rio Durant, I would have loved to have seen him being carried further because, I mean, I understand it. With Tobias' character, we wanted to see how much more desperate he is with Dryden Voss's character, and I was just getting to that, Jigga. Yes, Donald Glover. Great performance as Lando, and I even after rewatching it 4 or 5 times, I even love Alden Ehrenreich's performance as Solo. I did not even hear. Some people were trying to say he's trying to mimic some Harrison Ford mannerisms. I didn't actually see that. Maybe some charming moments, like when he's trying to be quippy, but other than that, he's his own person all the way through. I even like when I even love the Kessel Run. When they're getting out of it, he's doing all these different maneuvers, and I love when he drops that line where he talks about his boy Needles. I'm going, that's fantastic. I love that line because it's more of, I'm doing this in honor of my boy who died doing this, and then having it be the reason he escapes the Kessel Run, so it builds more towards his confidence. And I even love the reveal that Maul was not only still alive, but he is running his own gang, which bled into the Clone Wars, which was just great connection there. I don't think it was a plan or so. It just looked to me like they wanted to bring a character back who Kira talks to, and I hope it leaves the door open for Kira to come back because Emilia Clarke, really underrated. She's overlooked a little bit because this was during the time when Game of Thrones was still going on, so not many people were valuing her performance as Kira. And I do like her performance. Like I see 3 different sides of her. One when she's on Corella, and then you see her all like get fancy, dressed up. But then the differences you see in her performance when she's talking to Han, then to Beckett, and then also to Dryden Voss, you do see that there are sides of her that she's trying to keep under control. And I like how Han is trying to bring out that old part of her that she had to, push, she had to kill in order to survive. So on rewatch, this film shows you a lot of great character moments. And I will say L3 is one of the most, at the time when this was out, she was a hated droid for, I didn't understand why. I don't get why people hated her. She was a great droid, a great design. I didn't like how her fate was becoming the navigational system of the Falcon.
I didn't love that. I love that.
I want to be a free droid. I want all droids to be free.
I actually would have liked the fact I would like the fact that she had broke away from Lando to start becoming, to start freeing droid slaves of her own, and then I don't know, maybe in you could, it opens the door of seeing her more in Star Wars media, maybe in comics and animation.
So give her the Legends IG-88 storyline where he made a droid rebellion, but give it to her. Yeah, I'm in. That sounds great.
But ultimately, I have fun with this film, and I don't knock it. And it's just like with Rise of Skywalker. I don't knock it as hard as I did for my first impression. Like it's grown with me over time.
You made me like it more. That you describing it was good. That was great.
Yeah.
Marie, have I talked to you about Solo yet? What's up with Solo?
So I went into this movie with zero expectations.
The Hut.
Like, so I was like, I didn't ask for this movie. I don't understand why it's being made. I have no expectations. And so I went in, and after the end of the movie, I was like, well, dang, that was pretty fun. Like, it was one of those things where I'm glad I didn't go in with any expectations, because I was very pleased. I was pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed it. And I love all the characters. And man, if you had like the comics right now, Kira is like a main character in the comics right now.
Yep.
And that is Crimson Dawn is a huge deal. And so I think it's really cool that they took the movie and the whole Crimson Dawn thing and Kira taking over, and they incorporated it into the comic book so heavily. I think it's really fun.
I think my only real big problem, because I think that all that's great. I love Paul Bettany running Crimson Dawn, and then I love Emilia Clarke and Kira like killing him and taking over after that. My big problem is just Darth Maul at the end. I think I'm like, why did it have to be Darth Maul? We just saw him die in Rebels. Like
literally a week before.
Like his story is so perfect.
I think that's kind of funny. I never saw Rebels when this was out, so when I saw that, like the Clone Wars was still fresh in my mind. So I'm going, oh, interesting.
It was legitimately like 2 weeks earlier. Like we had just
right before
die, and it's like, okay, we just saw a perfect ending to Darth Maul. Why is it Darth Maul? But I love what they're doing with Kira in the comics now, and I do hope we see her again in some form. Ben, we got a lot of movies to get through. So do you have any top level thoughts about Solo?
Not any more than I already said. I mean, it's a fun adventure movie loaded with great. I liked it.
I got one more thing. It's really quick. I have tiny. I would have loved to see Phil Lord and Chris Miller's take on it. I know that a lot of the actors, or one of the actors specifically, hated it, and he said that he was feeling like he's being turned into Ace Ventura and not Han Solo. And then I was like, cool, let's see where this goes. So I'm okay with that, but I understand that they got like, but I would have loved to see their take on it. Huh?
Because like, didn't Lord and Miller just cast him again in another one of their movies?
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know if they casted him, but he got cast in one of their projects.
Yeah,
it just surprised me that there was any negativity, because at that time they were batting really good, and they still are. Like real, like look at Cloud with a Chance of Meatballs, like a movie, like they were doing really good things, and I couldn't wait to see more. And then I was like, they gave him a Star Wars, that's perfect. And then they got like going, I'm like, what happened? Dang it.
All right.
Wait, there is one more thing I want to say. I'm sorry, I didn't remember.
Go ahead.
We're talking about
Can I just say it's amazing with all the with all the behind the scenes drama, we got a movie as good as we did with that movie. It could have been a lot worse.
You're
Could have been a lot
completely
worse.
right. When a movie goes through development hell like that, it's rarely that it even comes out not a mess. So
Man,
that's pretty good.
Imagine if how Han Solo got his last name was the best thing in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, Ryan, what is coming up after Solo? Talked about the Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones, Rise of Skywalker, and Solo. What is coming up next?
I mean, to me personally, I think either a prequel is coming up or maybe another movie from the Disney era. Like maybe episode 1's gonna come up, or this time it's gonna be, or maybe it's gonna be Rogue One.
Lock it in. What do you got?
I'm gonna go as much as this film is starting to be forgiven. I'm gonna go with episode 1.
It is another Disney era film.
Okay.
And it's the movie that we've all been waiting to talk about.
No.
The Last Jedi.
No!
Oh my God!
No!
Jedi under Phantom Menace?
At
Wow!
6.7%, or not percent, 6.7 out of 10. The Last Jedi.
You gotta be kidding me! This is okay. I will hold this.
Ryan, no, you're going, man. Go.
You're a niche.
Okay. I can understand some of the negativity that's going to be thrown in this film, especially Taco. I've heard some of the stuff you said about it.
I don't have too much more to say.
But all I will say is that The Last Jedi, this is a film that I will wholeheartedly say is not meant to be watched in one sitting. This is something you have to rewatch, and it has to be dissected because each plot, each separate subplot, it may not all connect into the story, but it's all exploring different realms of Star Wars. I will guess that's probably one takeaway I will say of The Last Jedi is that each of its separate plots are focusing on three different things that's all happening in a galaxy. Now, as a Star Wars fan who has come across who's read comics, watched cartoons, played video games, I understand that sometimes the main narrative is not going to always be a straight line. I can understand it's going to go back and forth. You're not always going to stick with your same character, and you might change your perspective. That's one of the things I actually liked about this. That with Rey, with our perspective with Rey, she is with Luke because she is set on a mission to bring Luke to the Resistance, but also to gain a more understanding of her connection to the Force. With Finn, I understand some people's negativity towards Finn, like, oh my God, he joins them, but now he's trying to leave them. And honestly, I rewatched The Force Awakens before Last Jedi. He never really out loud says he's joining them. His main goal throughout the whole time had been Rey. So when I do see him leave, he's not turning his back on anyone. He's just trying to get to Rey. That was the sole purpose of going to Starkiller Base. And that's the sole purpose now of leaving them while they're being chased by the First Order. But I like the inclusion of Rose as someone who is probably like Finn, someone who may not be as important, but wants to be in this fight. Mm-hmm. I guess some of the things with Rose was just the writing towards, or at least the narrative direction towards her character. Look, that's on another time. I can talk about that if we ever do a deep dive discussion on The Last Jedi. But all I will say here is that I like Rose's story. She serves as Finn's look inside of the Resistance. Now he knows through Poe, he understands that they want to fight against something. But this is someone like Rose, who's just a simple, maybe a mechanic or someone who just does engineering equipment, or it's something that may be low in the totem pole of the Resistance. But she's just as dedicated as any of the new stormtroopers in the First Order. And seen from her eyes, especially on Canto Bight, which I'm pretty sure is going to piss a lot of people off of Canto Bight, it honestly serves a true purpose because in times of war, or when we've seen through war films, through political thrillers, even in comic book films, there's always a moral gray area out there that kind of wants us to tear our hair out of our heads. But you never really see that in Star Wars until now, and especially in a couple of episodes in the Clone Wars when they focused on when Obi-Wan and Anakin become slaves. But this area of Cantabite, I actually did like on the second turn because we are seeing people who are prospering, who are living luxuriously while there is a battle for the galaxy's soul between the First Order and the Resistance, and they couldn't care less. They will have father years racing like it's racetracks. They'll abuse kids just so they can just so they won't step out of line. They'll get drunk, they'll party until their heads fall off. And I like the fact that this is not a good thing, especially when you look at what's happening right now.
Yeah, I'll go first. I don't like The Last Jedi. I'm not too scared to say it. I don't like this movie very much, and I think Canto Bite sucks.
Dave, before you go, and I'm going to agree, I want to say, Ryan, you are better at selling these movies than any trailer or anything. You are killing it. Every time I'm like, what movie did he watch?
Like,
oh my God,
I was like, that's
great.
a good movie he just said. And then I thought to myself, I was like, no. So tell me, Maz Kanata is like, hey, I could do it, but I'm busy. I don't have I can't tell you. I don't have a picture of the guy you have to meet, but here's the pendant he's going to meet. He's going to be wearing. Then Finn and Rose get thrown in jail and don't meet the guy. But luckily, there's a guy in prison with them that has the exact skill set they need. And then there's so many times in Canto Bite specifically where I agree. I think the theme of look at all these assholes profiting from war. That's a great thing to get out there as subtext. But when Finn turns to the audience or to Rose and is like, "Oh man, this place is amazing." Rose, could you just tell the audience why this place is actually terrible? Like that's what it feels like he's doing. It's like, could you just tell me why you hate this place? How could you not love this place?
That's like one of the narrative. That was one of the narrative directions I didn't like, having her make this speech. Instead, I would have appreciated her just going around having her let's take 3 minutes out of our time looking for this master code breaker, and let me show you how terrible it is. Where instead you could be just walking across the floor, maybe have Finn and Rose through communicator, and Rose can just talk, and you have this great visual storytelling through the camera of all these people here, and then
easily,
she can say,
but why make the movie tell a story when you can have a character do it way easier?
And before I let everyone else,
I'm being sarcastic.
The movie essentially starts with a Yamama joke, and that has no place in Star Wars.
I love the mini movie before the movie. It is very Empire Strikes Backian, if you will. I love that there's a tiny little mini movie before the movie, but yeah, it is a Yamama joke.
And when one of my biggest problems with the movie is they bench Poe for doing the like not thinking about human life and doing the hero play. And Leia says to him, Holdo, she was more concerned with everybody's lives than being a hero. But it's like, and then she does that though. And it's like, then what are you trying to tell me now? What are you trying to tell me the point of this movie is? She's being the hero, but don't be a hero. It's just I don't agree. Conflicting messages. I mean, but those cool crystal foxes are real cool down on Crate. I like them a lot. Ben, what about The Last Jedi? Say something controversial. Because both opinions are.
Say something controversial. You're poking with a steak, Dave? Jeez.
This is a movie. I don't know. What can I say that hasn't been said? The things I like Rey's stuff. Luke is Luke. Some characters made some bad choices. Some characters made some good choices. Do I agree with anything? I agree with some stuff. I don't know about this movie. It's real big. I like some stuff. If Rise of Skywalker turned out better for me, I think I would have liked this more. But because Rise of Skywalker was so retconning towards this movie, I like this movie best, if that makes sense.
No, I get that. Because like Rise of Skywalker straight up has to answer for the crime of Luke Skywalker saying, "Oh my God, it's my father's lightsaber. Don't want that anymore."
Yes, exactly.
They made the answer for that crime, but then they violate others by you mentioning the whole thing of Holdo, and then that ridiculous line, "Let's do some Holdo maneuvers. Let's cause some real damage." Look, I will just say, I understand the confusion with Holdo there. Yeah, I get it. She's more focused on lives. Her doing that made sense because she's trying to prevent the pods that was meant not to be discovered from being destroyed, which were not pods, but all the small little ships that was part of the backup plan to escape, which to nobody on that board did not know that they were discovered if it wasn't for Poe trying to undermine her by setting Finn and Rose off on this mini adventure, pretty much not even asking them who did they got, because pretty much openly telling them Holdo's game plan to a third party of DJ who, for all we know, could not trust. And honestly, he is shown in two different scenarios why you can't trust him. Yeah. But it easily followed up with, oh, he escapes with BB-8 and then shows back up with him. Oh, guess what? He's a thief, but he's showing you much bigger thieves out of the people, the merchants selling weapons. But then but that shot of him looking up, hearing Poe explain Holdo's plan, I'm going, this is going to pay off somewhere. Guess where it pays off? With him selling the information to save his skin.
Now, Murray, wouldn't it make everything Ryan's just said about Holdo, wouldn't all of that make sense if it turned out at the end that she was, in fact, a First Order spy? Because if you want a mutiny to happen, act exactly like Holdo did. Don't tell anyone your plan. And just say, no, you've been a bad boy. I can't trust you.
She did not go to leadership training. Sorry, but we have that. All bosses at my work have to go through leadership training. She skipped it that day. She called it took vacation.
As far as we know, only five officers, including Poe, did not know her plan. Nobody else was Nobody else was stopping Holdo, and nobody else was trying to stop Poe. You can see that there's some split out section.
I don't know her name, but Carrie Fisher's kid. She was on the bridge. She should have known the plan.
Cato Conics.
That's right. That's why Marie's on the show. Marie, tell us about The Last Jedi.
So like I said earlier, my first reaction was, but part of that was because I wanted Rey to go evil, and she didn't go evil. And then it was never revealed who her parents were, and that bothered me. And then after watching it, I've seen all the Star Wars movies multiple times, and now I really enjoy it. I really like Last Jedi. I love Canto Bight. The collection of novellas that came out about Canto Bight is exceptional. It's a lot of fun. And Holdo, like, her character in the comics is she's like randomly shows up in lots of different time periods in the comics, and I love her character. I relate to her, and so having her be introduced and then having this whole Canto Bight thing, there are lots of little things that I really like about Last Jedi. There are things that irritate me, but a lot of things that I really like.
Taco?
Can I say one thing? I'm sorry.
I'll just leave. Just go. Go ahead, Ben.
I don't know how we forgot to bring up the most important character in this movie. This movie can't survive without this character. Captain Phasma.
Yeah, I was going to bring her up. I haven't talked yet, Ben. I was definitely going to bring her up.
Taco, tell us about.
If you guys want to see the blood on my tongue from biting it the last 5 minutes, it's been really rough.
Yeah, so
I kept going.
Taco,
calm down, Mark.
Taco, anytime you want to interrupt, go ahead. I like these big conversations.
I've been told in private chats thousands of times by you personally to stop interrupting people. All right, so I finally learned and now I'm paying for it. But anyways, no, we have a lot of Star Wars to talk about. We're here an hour already. I don't want this to be a 3-hour
Holy
show.
crap! It's already been an hour.
And if we really 5 people review every single Star Wars, it's going to take 5 hours. I'm not in charge of the show. If you want a 5-hour show, Dave, go ahead. It's your show. But my wife will kill me if I'm here for more than 2.5.
That's fair. That's fair.
Now, I already stated earlier, I think this movie has really horrible pacing. Really bad. There's a lot of decisions I dislike. There's a lot of decisions I do like, which I did state earlier when I was comparing it to Rise of Skywalker. Something that Ben said, I feel the opposite, because he said that he liked this movie less after he saw Rise of Skywalker. I actually like this movie more after I saw Rise of Skywalker, because I thought this was a bad Star Wars movie, and then I saw Rise of Skywalker. I'm like, whoa. Hours. Oh crap. Hours. I got positives with this movie. But it does a lot of film making things wrong. And I'm a film fan first before I'm a Star Wars film fan. And I don't like the idea that just because I love Star Wars, I love the comics, I love the world, I love the lore, I love so much about it. Everybody who's seen it, talk to me, knows how much I love Star Wars. That doesn't mean that I have to close my eyes to bad movie making. It just doesn't. I can't just go, I'm going to ignore this pacing, or I'm going to ignore how that line was said. I'm going to ignore how that character doesn't make any sense. I'm going to ignore how that character shouldn't even be here. I'm going to ignore how so much things. I'm going to ignore how this entire Candlebite section could be about 5 minutes shorter and get a lot of the points that Ryan said they were making. You can get a lot of that done a lot quicker. And or maybe at a different way, or a different pacing, or there's a good movie here. There's a very good movie here. They didn't nail it. It just isn't. And also, I hated what they did with Captain Phasma. I think they did Gwendolyn Christie dirty. Oh, I really do. I felt
the
like
deleted scene of her death is much better.
I mean, sure, but it's not in the movie. I can't rate a movie because of deleted scenes. She
I know
shouldn't have died at all.
Yeah, I know,
because she was nothing but build up in Force Awakens, and I was like, "Ooh, can't wait to see what they do with Phasma," because I love Gwendolyn Christie, and I wanted them to do something, and then she gets Boba Fetted into the Sarlacc. Like, wait, what?
She gets so much worse than Boba Fetted. Like, it's egregious the way they deal with Captain Phasma, and I'm like, was she busy? Like,
and they did the same with Hux in the next movie, and it just bothers me. It does, and I like a lot of the decisions, like you said earlier, but the problem is Abrams undoes all that I like about this movie, and it bothers me. And I don't like how Luke is treated, and I know that's a big problem with a lot of people. People really love this version of Luke. I'm glad you do. If Evan was on here, if Gold Leader was on here, he'd be yelling at me right now because he loves the direction they went with Luke. I'm just too much of a Legends dude, and I have Grandmaster Luke in my head, and Grandmaster Luke will always be # my Luke Skywalker. I'm sorry, just is. And it's really weird to me to see this like grumpy, nothing matters, nihilistic Luke Skywalker. It's just really odd to me. But whatever, that's the direction they went. That's fine. I don't like the crate battle. I don't like him being a force protection. I don't like that I would be okay with that. I don't like how he just dies afterwards. Yeah. Nothing hurt him. What, he just concentrated himself to death. It really bothers me. Yeah. I feel like they killed Luke because they needed to kill one of them, right?
He like they killed Han. Now we gotta get rid of Luke.
Yeah, okay. This one time I studied for a test and I just like what? I just don't get a lot of it.
There's also a lot I would say about here, but because we are on limited time, I will just I share your same anger on that, but like I said, I'm rewatching that again. I also see where that was going. I didn't want Luke to die,
but it didn't get there. It was going there. I agree with everything you said. But you're talking about the movie it was trying to be.
Yeah.
Not the movie that it was. I'm sorry.
I'm talking for what cinematography, like what's saying to that. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah. Now, before we move on to the final thing, I just want to shout out my favorite line in this whole movie. is when Luke and Kylo are fighting on Crate, and Luke says,
Luke wasn't on Crate.
Shut up. And Luke, you know what was on Crate? The dice. But which I'm glad we got through all of Solo without talking about the dice. I love when Luke says to Ben, I'm sorry, Ben.
I'm sorry.
And he just and Kylo just responds, yeah, I'm sure you are.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, what a bratty thing to say, and I love it. Speaking of bratty things to say, Taco, what's next?
Kylo Ren's choreography in that fight is the worst choreography in all Star Wars lightsaber battles. Okay, next is, so we got the Rich Tridge, we got Rogue One, we got Phantom Menace is still kicking. Oh my God, look at you go! Somebody loves Jar Jar. It's got to be Menace. It has to be next. I don't want it to be. I'm like getting to A. Like, I'm rooting for it at this point. It is the little Phantom Menace that could.
It has to be Phantom Menace, but it's not. It's Rogue One.
Oh my
No!
God!
At
No!
6.7%, and this
What?
was the one that
Who are we
shocked
sending
me the
these
most.
surveys to?
Everyone.
I shared it. A lot of people.
6.7%, or 6.7 out of 10. Or sorry, not 6.7. That was Last Jedi. Straight 7 out of 10 for Rogue One, and I was shocked by this. I was like, I thought people really liked Rogue One.
Yeah.
I really liked Rogue One. Ben, why don't people like Rogue One?
Second act.
I don't know, man. I love Rogue One. It's my number. I don't know where I put him on. It's my top pick. It's a great movie for me. With an incredible ending.
Incredible ending.
Marie, other than the fact that Phantom Menace has gotten so high, which you know, I'm not complaining about. But other than that, this probably is the biggest shocker of the countdown so far. What's up with Rogue One?
I don't know. For me, when I saw, Force Awakens comes out first, saw that, I was like, well, that was lame. And then the next movie that was released in theaters was Rogue One. And so I'm going in to see it, and after I walk out of the theater, I'm like, holy crap. This is what I've been waiting for. And so I don't know, because I think it's an incredible movie. Like, it shows the dark, gritty part of the rebellion. It's very real. It's finally a war movie, a Star Wars movie that's a war movie. And it's funny at the same time. And it just has so many wonderful aspects to it. And then how it leads up, because I'm all about foreshadowing. I'm all about connections. And the fact that it goes straight up to A New Hope, like sitting there in the theater going like, are they going to do it? Oh my God, they're still going. It's still going. And I was like, they're going to do it. And then I was like, this is so good. Love Rogue One.
Yeah.
It was my favorite. It was my number one until...
I'll remove my headphones.
Until Rise of Skywalker came out.
Oh, shit. Wow.
She said Empire Strikes Back, right? My headphones are out. She said Empire, right?
Good, Taco.
Taco, I thought the hallway fight alone would have pushed this into top 3.
Okay, so let's talk about this movie, because I really like this movie. Alan Tudyk is probably like it's got to be my top 3 performances in all Star Wars. I'm sorry, all Star Wars movies.
Wow.
It's right up there with Frank Oz.
Wow.
It's funny that like my favorite performances are puppets and droids. But come on, man. What Jacka just said in the comments is one of the best droids too.
Yes, for sure.
Great, but it's his performance that makes it. I have one. Where is he? He's up right here. You guys can't see him. He's up there. I can move the camera, but I won't. But his performance is amazing. I think, as I was saying earlier, I think the first act is fantastic. I like all the way up to the Saw Gerrera stuff. I like Saw Gerrera. I feel like the people who made this movie watched I'll come back. It sounds like I'm gonna go off on a weird tangent, but watch the Family Guy Star Wars
Blue
parody.
Harvest, yeah.
But the second one, something dark side. I feel like they watched that, and there's a scene where like some rebels guy is talking about how the Imperial guy is talking about how the rebels took their dog Zeus. They took Zeus? Like, yeah, what? And then later, no. And then Han is talking to Luke, or Peter's talking to Chris, and he's like, hey, what'd you do with that guy's dog? We ate him! Yeah, rebels! And that one little thing always stuck with me, like, yeah, rebels! Why are they not terrorists? Like, they're rebels! Like, they're rebellion! Why are they not blowing up buildings and being more psycho? Like, that's what Saw Gerrera was. He was the terrorist rebel. And as soon as I saw that, I was going, what did we do? We ate his dog! Like, that was what I thought that whole time with Saw Gerrera. Because he's the rebel. And he that weird voice. That must have just killed Forrest Whitaker. Oh my god. But
the rebellion. Save the trees.
But so the first act, amazing. Second act, I can't even tell you what happened. There's a good 30 minutes there that I don't actually know. I watched the movie multiple times. Is it? Oh, really? Oh, that stinks. Oh, no. And then the third act happens. And the entire battle is so good. And there's all these awesome tactics going on. And I feel like I'm watching Star Wars Band of Brothers and I'm loving it. And then right when I don't think it can get any better, they, spoiler alert, just murder the entire cast. And I'm like, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Go there, Star Wars.
That's Star Wars Suicide Squad.
Yes. And then right when I can't think it can't get any better than this, the hallway scene happens.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been so pumped leaving a movie. That this third act, when you leave, you're like, whoa. So here's a funny thing. Karma happened to a friend of mine who ruined Force Awakens to me as I sat down. So I got to see it opening night, 7:00 at the Thursday before, and I sat down. And I don't talk to him much, and my phone vibrates. I look down, I'm like, why is he texting me? We don't text each other. And I clicked it, and then it just said, Han Solo dies and Luke's not in the movie until last scene, doesn't have any lines. That's what the text said right at the beginning of Force Awakens.
What an asshole.
What an asshole. He just saw the line and he just wanted
trying to lower your expectations or something?
He just wanted to ruin it for me. He just wanted to ruin the movie for me. So I've seen so many movies before him. Like I went and saw him like Infinity War before him and I didn't ruin it. Like all these times I've been wanting to just be like, oh, by the way, Thanos snaps, everyone's gone. Like I never did that to him. He was walking into Rogue One and the guy leaving goes, I can't believe they kill everybody. And he walked up to me and goes, did you know that guy? Was that guy a plant? No, it's like, no, but I love him. I want to buy him a beer because he did exactly what you did to me.
Justice.
I gotta say,
I can't believe they blew everybody up.
I think Ben Mendelsohn as Krennic in this movie. I love Krennic.
Great. I love Ben Mendelsohn.
I love how weaselly he is when he goes to Darth Vader to bitch about Tarkin. And he's like, am I still in charge? And it's like, yes. I don't love the choke on your expectations.
No, I actually like that. I like that.
They're not aspirations.
But Ryan, that's good. I'm going to throw it to you to wrap up our Rogue One talk. Like, what are you feeling about Rogue One?
Well, I'm not.
And why is it so low?
I don't know why it's so low. Honestly, for me, I do enjoy this. Like, this was Star Wars. This was actually the Star Wars film I thought was going to be this. All I will say was I was not excited going into this because I didn't like the premise of them trying to explain the 2-inch meter wide hole in exhaust port in the Death Star. I didn't like that. I thought, well, I didn't like them trying to create a film to explain that little weakness in the Death Star.
I didn't like that either.
Chalk it up to human arrogance. Chalk it up to. We have corporations nowadays that are willing to do shady crap just to get out a good product. You're telling me people nowadays can't buy the Death Star, this huge mega star this huge superstructure, and they will overlook a simple designing flaw? Get out of here. Now, that being said, this film did wow me because I didn't have a lot of expectations going in. I loved Donnie Yen, and I'm forgetting the other actor's name, as the two guardians of the former guardians protect of the and I loved their interaction. They were so like I can just feel the relationship off of both of these two men, showing that these were brothers who fought and died, who fought, killed, did everything they could, but now they're on the wrong, but then they end up being on the losing side. And I like how one of them, he's just lost hope. The other one is still holding on to it. So when Donnie's character is dying, you do get to see in those small moments of him realizing my friend is dead, but I will comfort him in these final moments, and then I'm going to join him, but I'm going out fighting. And I even like when he's about to die, when that grenade's about to go off, his last look is towards his friend. That is a great moment. And right now, I'm actually just getting goosebumps off the top of from my neck to my skull, just rethinking about it, because it's such a great moment. And I even like Cassian and this burgeoning respect he's developing towards Jin. I like how that's why I like that conversation between the two of them where he has that line, I've been in this fight since I was 12, and you see this and now it's real for you. Like, you're right. This talks about the dirty antics of the rebellion and how some of them want victory. They want the idealism there. They just had to go. They were the ones who just had to go through the muck for it. This is what exactly I wanted Last Jedi to show us, but Rogue One did a better execution of it.
Yeah. I like it when Ryan sells me movies I already liked. So it's way better than when he convinces me that movies I dislike are good. This is great.
Can I say something real quick?
Well, Dave's muted, so yeah. You can talk all you want, man.
Oh, yeah, Ben, I was going to come to you. You were the first person I came to, and most of your comments about Rogue One were like, what? How is it so low? What? So, what do you quickly wrap us up on our Rogue One?
And you make one suggestion to all of you guys who love the hallway scene. After the show ends, go on YouTube, look up that hallway scene, but with the immigrant song.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it. It's great. Wow.
I think I saw someone do that same scene, but to Wigwam, do you want to taste it? Because of Peacemaker.
Wow. I'll say, we're about to move on, and so no one can dispute this fact. I like Darth Maul's hallway scene in the final season of Clone Wars better than the Vader Clone Wars scene, and we're moving on. Marie, what's
This is
next?
great, guys. This is great. I love having you here. I'm kidding. I love Maul. I'm a Maul fanboy.
Marie, what is next? What is coming up next? As we are, by the way, if you're still with us, thank you. We are halfway through. We're gonna try.
I barely am.
But thank you, Marie. What's next?
I really hope that it's Force Awakens.
Me too.
Because this is killing me.
This both breaks my heart, but also makes me so happy.
No way.
That it's Phantom Menace at 7.1, topping off the B tier.
I forgot Force Awakens was still on here. I would have said that way long ago. I totally forgot that.
Phantom Menace. When I started this show, I asked everyone's rooting interest. Before I sent out the survey, Phantom Menace was my rooting interest. I love Phantom Menace. And you know what? Is it problematic in some areas? Sure. Does all the CGI hold up? No. Is Darth Maul super dope? Yes. Is pod racing too long but also not long enough? Yes. I love pod racing and we'll hear nothing about it. But
I bought the Star Wars pod racing game.
Thank you.
That game is amazing.
I love that game. I do not complain about pod racing.
I love Phantom Menace. I love the amount of punching and kicking that's in this movie. There's a point in the Darth Maul fight that does not get talked about a lot. We talk about how much Darth Maul kicks. Qui-Gon Jinn just backhands Maul at one point, and I think that's fantastic.
That's right. Yeah.
I love that.
He backhands him after a punch in the gut.
Obi or Qui-Gon that does a double kick to 2 droids, just jumps up and
that's
just like
that's
double drop kicks.
He does it twice within the span of 3 minutes.
Yes,
it's great.
Who needs laser swords?
And may I say, now is this character? I'll move on in a second, but this was my rooting interest. Is this character that I'm about to bring up very problematic? Yes, but I love Watto. Watto is fantastic.
There was so many different characters you could say. You could have said so many different problematic characters.
Watto
you can pick apart 5. You can pick apart 6 members from the Jedi Council, and I would still put Watto above them.
And when Watto is like, "Hey, it makes more sense to buy a whole new ship," I'm like, "Yeah, you tell him, Watto. You upsell him right now. You do it." And when he gets pissed about Qui-Gon cheating in the dice game, I'm like, yeah, Watto, you should be pissed. And when he shows back up and Attack of the Clones with his little hat and his bad beard, I'm like, I'm so happy to see you, Watto. I love you.
Can we get, was it Ryan who's got the really good Watto impression? I'm pretty sure you do. I'm not wrong, right?
I thought you were thinking of Ryan Nelson. Like you got his.
No, Ryan Payne. You got a really good Watto, don't you?
Maybe I do. I love it. Think about it.
Was it you who whipped out Lenny? Somebody, I thought that was you who did that one. That just kills me.
Oh my god.
It is you. C720 type H Nubian. You're lucky. I'm the only one who has those.
Nubian. Got lots of that.
And not work on me. Only money.
Okay. Let's not review it. Let's just do Watto quotes and move on. Besides the fact that this is how they come up with aliens. All right, draw us an ugly human. What racial stereotype should we put on him? Like, that's how he treated aliens in Phantom Menace, and it's not okay, and I hate it. I hate that literally right now I cannot play a Nemoidian in a role-playing game without being racist. Because I cannot accurately do a Rhodian or Nemoidian impression without sounding like I'm doing a really bad Asian impression. And I hate George Lucas for doing that to me.
It didn't take until Revenge of the Sith where I realized that there were some racial tones towards Watto.
We lost all communications down there. I
thought Watto physically was meant to be Grover's ancestor in a different galaxy. Gonzo's ancestor.
Yeah, Gonzo's. Yeah, Gonzo. I can't say what Watto is because I'm a better person than George Lucas is. But anyways, besides all that horrible crap, it does follow a lot of the problems with the rest of the prequel trilogy. Love the script. I do feel like needs another pass. A lot of the acting is questionable at best. Really good actors are putting out really not great performances. I'm looking at you, Liam Neeson. I know you can do better than that. But holy crap, Darth Maul. Holy crap, Duel of Fates. Holy crap, the freaking lightsaber fight. Like the Duel of Fates lightsaber fights. One of the only live action canon lightsaber fights I put in S tier. It's a very perfect fight all around. It's still really iconic. There's so many really amazing things, and even looking back at it without nostalgia eyes, just watching it, I do see a lot more issues than I saw when it came out and I was 11. But it's got so much cool stuff. This movie introduced us to an era that is actually one of my favorite Star Wars eras, even including Legends. Like it goes like Legacy, like 2000 or 5000 BBY, and then like prequels. Like these are the times that I love. I love all the characters. It just birthed this great world, but it's got a lot of those George Lucas directing issues, and I will bring it up with all prequels. Is you got to look at it as how well is the film made. If the script isn't polished, if it sounds like he didn't want to, like somebody's like, can I please go over this? And he's like, no, I'll fire you. No. And if the acting just isn't like, the director just doesn't tend to the actors. I'm saying all the stuff I said during Clone Wars or Attack of the Clones, but a lot of those issues are still here. But this movie does a lot of good, and I will thank it for that. It's like, you know, I don't love the first punk band, but I like that it started the genre. You know,
Murray,
I do like the first punk band, but
Murray, what are you saying? What are you thinking about Phantom Menace?
I love it.
Yay!
I definitely do. It's actually my little brother's favorite Star Wars movie. It is the only Star Wars movie he will go back and watch.
Has he seen Empire?
He loves the politics. He loves the whole Senate aspect of it, and the wheeling and dealing, and the
Really?
all that stuff. He loves
the trade disputes.
He loves that. He loves the political aspects of it. And so it's so much fun to listen to him talk about the Phantom Menace. But no, I love this movie. When I saw it in theaters, my immediate reaction afterwards was, well, this is better than all the original trilogy. So I was like just enamored. And then it progressively, then Attack of the Clones I liked even better, and then Revenge of the Sith I liked even better. So like this started my, like, the prequels are my Star Wars. So it definitely opened that up for me.
Mm-hmm. Ben, what are you thinking about Phantom Menace?
You didn't say Sasha Banks is the most problematic character.
Really thought we were going to get through all
it
of
was
this without
it was
talking about Star
implied
Trek.
when I said the word racial stereotypes. Jar Jar Binks was implied.
There's always a bigger fish.
You know what? I like this movie. It's fun. I rewatched it a few months ago. To me, it got ever since the sequel trilogy came out, I've gained more respect for the prequel trilogy, and then it gained so much more respect for me. It does such a good job building up the lore and the characters. Does it have problems? Yes. Is it racial problematic characters? Yes. But I like this movie. Problems and all.
Ryan, I feel like we've been very positive, and I love it. So why don't you just bring us home on some positivity, unless you want to say something negative about Phantom Menace?
Wow, us. I want Ryan to flip. Like, instead of saying positive movies or things about the movies I don't like, I want to hear his
now that
really
we're in the
negative takes.
Now that we're in the top 6, Ryan's just like, I hate.
Let me explain to you.
Negativity. You should just go to Star Wars Reddit pages for some negativity.
Ooh, that was bomb bad of you there.
Yeah. No, honestly, no. Look, I can't. When the prequels came out, I will say these were my Star Wars films, because I was right around the time I was in middle school. I was someone who had watched the original trilogy off of VCR tape from my grandparents' trailer. So getting to see new Star Wars films, and at the pace that they were, like, they captured my attention. I honestly may have missed the opportunity to talk about Attack of the Clones, but Attack of the Clones, I watched that so many times. I actually wanted to, for one of my computer design classes in middle school, I wanted to use Attack of the Clones as an example of CGI computer generate for using CGI. And my only downside was that I couldn't be able to record using a VCR because my teacher just wouldn't allow me to bring DVDs in. That was my downside. I had to spend 20 minutes explaining something about Star Wars instead of having a visual representation. But still, with Phantom Menace, the only negative things of Phantom Menace I've gotten over, and that's through time. But the negative things that were there was the over-reliance of Anakin Skywalker, putting too much on his importance. The Metachlorians, give it or take it. I can understand this was Lucas trying to bring some science fiction to something that many people considered the Force. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's magic," so he tried to introduce some sci-fi to it. This is how. And looking at it now, I'm going, this kind of makes sense, because if you keep saying that the Force is just an energy field that binds us, a lot of people are going to have questions about it. So the Metachlorians felt like a middle ground of a scientist going, "Oh, I was able to logic this out. I was able to logic the Force," when you really can't.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of bacteria that are magical, like,
Yeah,
inside you.
But I will also say that one thing I did, Jar Jar, he was degrading because he was thrown all over the place. Like him being made a general, I'm going, no, just make him a foot soldier or
a Bombad general. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bombad Jim. Whatever. He was still Bombad at the job.
All right. Bombad means badass in Gunganese, right? It's got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just want to say, you imagine if your president's walking next to you and he's like, I'm going to make you a badass general. Like, oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Now, if I may say, I love Phantom Menace, but I think I know why Phantom Menace does rank so highly here. And it's because I thought to myself, Phantom Menace, aside from told a great story earlier about how my Phantom Menace earliest memory I have is going to the theater and watching Phantom Menace when I was 4 years old. It's the movie I've seen, easily the movie I've seen the most, like of any movie in general. And it's also the movie I've seen the most in Star Wars, because I think a lot of people also do this when they're like, I'm going to watch all the Star Wars movies. Either you go, I'm going to watch 1 to 9, or I'm going to watch 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. And by the time you get to the fourth movie, you know, we're all old. Life gets in the way. So like either at some point around that, either you've watched Phantom Menace or you've just watched Phantom Menace and you're like, man, I could just not watch Attack of the Clones and go on with my life. I think a lot of people jump off their rewatch right there. I'm sorry, Marie. I see the face. And I think that's why it ranks so highly, because Phantom Menace is so prevalent in people's minds. And also Darth Maul, super cool.
I got one last thing. It's
last
tiny.
Thing.
It's really tiny. It's really tiny.
But
I think a big thing when it comes to prequels opposed to sequel trilogy, at least for me and my age group, is even though looking back, I don't rate the prequels super high, but when prequels first came out, of course, I didn't look at film the way I look at film now. But also, I didn't have a job. I was 11 and 13, and I could just watch movies all day, and I did, and I just watched. I've seen Attack of the Clones hundreds of times, but the funny thing is, with the sequel trilogy, I'm now an adult. I don't watch my favorite movies that much anymore. Yeah. So if I went to it in the theaters and I'm like, I didn't have a favorable look at that, I'm not going to watch it 100 times. I'm not going to get that connection anymore because I have a daughter, I have a job, I pay union dues, and I just don't have time to sit down for 90 minutes unless I know I'm going to love it or I think I'm going to love it. I just don't have the time.
All right.
And,
I don't remember who I came to last, but
you went to Marie.
It was me.
Marie. So Ben. Now, actually, fun fact about this: the next 3 movies coming up, we're moving into the A tier, and the next 3 movies that are coming up are a 7.5, a 7.6, and a 7.7. These 3 movies fought for who was going to get 3rd place for the entire, forever. So, Ben, what do you think is next?
Okay, The Force Awakens.
It has to be.
It has to be The Force Awakens.
You did that last time.
It has to be The Force Awakens. But it's not. It's Return of the Jedi.
No.
What?
Wow.
No.
Oh my God.
Oh my
God. Here for 2 hours for this? My wife's going to get mad at me for this?
Return of the Jedi coming in.
My best Daniel Bryan. No.
That's stupid. I don't want to talk about it yet. You know what? Can we go back to it? Can we talk about Force Awakens first?
No.
I don't want to talk about this movie yet. I don't want to talk about a movie that I love before I talk about a movie that I dislike.
We're talking about Return of the Jedi.
You have to suck it up until it's time.
Admiral, the first movie of the original trilogy.
My second favorite Star Wars movie.
And
I absolutely love it.
But 7.5. A respectable number. There are people who don't like it. There are people who like it.
For still being here.
Ryan.
And we're not even close.
Ryan, what's going on?
It's my wife yelling at me. Told you.
Okay.
She's like, what am I going to be mad at you about?
Out of the original trilogies, the Return of the Jedi was the one I rewatched the most.
Me too. Thank you.
I love this film because after Empire Strikes Back, that movie ends everything on a very it ends on a hopeful note, but it was like a rough journey to get through. Return of the Jedi is saying, you know what? We're going to take this dour and bitterness you got from the Empire, and we're going to let you guys know that it's all going to work out in the end. And I like how it is. Like, seeing Luke be coming back, him getting his hand chopped off, his ass handed to him by Darth Vader, he comes back. Not only is he grown in his power, he is so confident. He's confident in it that he believes that he's able to get himself out of the situation with Jabba, even though it didn't happen that way. But I like how he tries. I like what we see with Luke. He tries to take the diplomatic approach. When that fails, he tries to come as a badass. If that didn't work, guess what? He has an escape plan. He had plans on plans on plans on plans.
Okay.
Jabba. And then,
diplomatic approach. His first thing he did was force choke some pig dudes.
No,
that's his first
negotiation. R2 and C3PO. That was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
then going on in, just seeing how most of these characters are growing. Like Leia, we do see her. She started off as just someone. She was a leader, but someone on the sidelines. Then she gets more into the dirt by trying to sneak in as Bosch. And then we see her choke out Jabba. Then we see her with the ground team on Endor. We see her form a connection with the Ewoks through Wicket. And then we do see also some great conflicts brewing between, like with Darth Vader. Him and Luke. I love that conversation of them on the Forest Moon. It's fantastic.
It's great.
You can just feel the tension between the two of them, where Vader just wants to throw everything away, but he's just more of. It's almost as if his fear. This is from rewatching so many times. You can almost feel rewatching the scene that Vader is terrified of wanting to go away because he knows
James Earl Jones kills it. This whole movie, James Earl Jones just kills it. It's so good.
That lightsaber fight between them, it's so full of emotion, so charged up that the score complements it. And look, I was the one takeaway I will say of these special edition remakes, the Disney Plus ones, was at the end where you do James Beard do that no. When I first saw that on Disney Plus, I was angry. I was mad because the original cut was so good, just having Darth Vader just watching Luke being tortured and then having him turn back toward the Emperor and that score in the background playing and rising and rising. So when he made that decision, you literally wanted to jump out of your seat saying, finally. But when Disney Plus adds in that audio no, that undercuts so much.
It does.
So,
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't even think that was a Disney thing. I thought that was.
No, it's Disney. The no from Revenge of the Sith made everybody so angry that they added it into like half the prequel or half the original trilogy. Like they added it into 2 movies. They added no into 2 movies.
But Ben, what are we saying about Return of the Jedi? What's going on there?
It's a great, for me, it's a great ending to the saga. I love Luke's arc in it. I love Vader's arc in it. I love. It is a perfect Star Wars movie. It's not my favorite, but I love this movie. I love Luke with Yoda. I love Yoda. Spoiler alert! I love Yoda's death scene. I love the return of Obi-Wan Kenobi, even though how is a Force Ghost sitting on a log that I will never understand.
He's tired. He died once, dude.
He's very tired.
He's
How hard is
unconscious,
it to walk
man.
around when you're dead?
He's unconscious. How is unconscious? We can have this debate. We can have this debate for hours, but bottom of the line, I love this movie. And I love the montage at the end where it shows all the planets celebrating. And I'm sorry, I'll say it. I love the inclusion of Hayden Christensen as a Force Ghost. I think it makes the most sense.
I don't hate
I think it makes sense.
Yeah. I remember as a kid when I was like, who's the fat guy? Like, it took me a lot of time. Oh, that's supposed to be Vader. Oh.
You know, I think you're right. And if we're talking special editions, I love Sny Snoodles showing up in Jabba's palace. Love that.
Hate
Marie-
it. I hate the whole Jabba's Palace change up. I do.
No,
the
so do
special
I. I really
edition
don't.
Jabba
I just
Palace.
wanted to flex that I knew.
I love that song.
Hate it all. I
That was
loved
my-
when it
that
was
was
quick.
the-
Who's he singing to? The
I
camera?
have that
The-
song on
the-
CD.
breaking the fourth wall?
Murray, what? Talk to me about
It's the weird blues singer out of nowhere who goes all Tom Waits on us.
Oh my god.
So I love how Return of the Jedi is darker, and we get all this Palpatine, which I just eat up. I love the Ewoks. I love that interaction between Leia and Luke when he reveals that she is his sister.
She's
Oh
always
my
not.
gosh, it's just so good. This movie is so good. Like it's definitely my favorite of the original trilogy.
Yeah, the best Star Wars thing, I think. And well, I think there's maybe some Rebel stuff that I like better. But the throne room scene and I'm a Jedi like my father before me, probably one of my favorite things. Like, hard to beat that in any Star Wars ever. But Taco, other stuff's gonna beat it.
Good.
That's
I
good.
heard my name. What?
I was saying Taco, other stuff's gonna beat it, but why do we love Return of the Jedi before
I don't. I think the idea of putting a sequel movie or a prequel movie above any of the original trilogy is sacrilegious. I do. I think it's really messed up. I do. I think that these people were raised wrong fundamentally by their parents. I'm sorry, but I do.
Wow, Taco, wow.
I feel like
Wow.
they've never. I feel like they've never watched like a movie and then went, "Oh, I get it." Like they don't get it. They don't get it. They don't understand movies and film, just in general. But whatever. I think this is my second favorite movie. And even over A New Hope, and I love A New Hope for everything it is. I do. I think A New Hope is all of it. But I love it, and it's definitely I put all three of the original trilogy in my top three. But this is my number two for a lot of reasons. I think people hating on this for Ewoks is dumb. I think I love the Ewoks. I think it's good practical effects. I mean, you see young Warwick Davis come on, man, it's amazing. Yeah. And I like that they're savage monsters. And it's awesome.
They eat stormtroopers.
They eat people, guys.
Yep,
They play drums on severed heads at the end.
Look, they were going to
Right?
get on.
Rebels! Like, it's great. I love it. There's some stuff that's goofy, really goofy. Like, so we see in the earlier ones that Stormtrooper armor doesn't stop blasters. So I'm like, okay, so it must be there for rocks. Well, it isn't. I don't know what Stormtrooper armor stops, because if a rock just they like fall over. I don't know why they're wearing it. But there's some goofy stuff. But I think it is the funnest of the movies, and also it's the first one I ever watched. I had this on the half face original cut VHSs. So if you guys remember that trilogy on VHSs where there was a half face for all of them, this was This wasn't the first special editions that came out in the 90s. I had the original cut, and I got this one first. And then it was my neighbor. I watched this about 30 times. I loved it on VHS. And then it was my neighbor who's like, dude, I have the other ones. Do you want to watch like 1 and 2 is what we called it back then? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then after I saw those, I was like, okay, so Empire, holy crap. But even as a kid, but yeah, I have so much love for this movie. The lightsaber fight at the end is so underrated when people talk about lightsaber fights. Yeah. The emotional battle between Luke and Vader, that there is no conflict. There's just so many. When he's like hiding in the shadows and Vader's not looking for him, he's looking into his mind and just messing with him. And then he's like, oh, you have a twin sister, huh? Well, screw her too, or whatever he says. And I
imagine James Earl Jones just saying what Taco said.
Oh, you got a twin sister, huh? I bet she's ugly. Let's fight. I love it all. I love this movie, and honestly, I can't believe we're talking about it already. But whatever, we are, and it is what it is. Let's move.
One of my favorite things from this movie also is after the probably, like I said, one of the best moments in all of Star Wars. I'm a Jedi, like my father before me, throws the lightsaber down. When the Emperor busts out the lightning, it's like, oh shit, I didn't know about that. That's new. Oh damn! What are we talking? The dark side, it's got some stuff.
So the ugly dude in the black robe is a wizard? Holy crap! I didn't see that coming. I didn't think he was actually a wizard.
Taco,
you're a wizard, Palpatine.
Taco, you're heartbroken. You're heartbroken to be talking about Return of the Jedi. But what are we talking about now?
Well, I have to say you made a mistake. That Force Awakens belongs about a suburb between B and C. If you just want to move Force Awakens down,
we haven't even talked about Force Awakens yet. But what are we?
I'm telling you that you made a mistake and that you got the document wrong. Somebody put their decimal point in the wrong place. Your TPS reports weren't filed correctly. It belongs down there. That's what I'm trying to say. Hey, Luke from Galaxy Geeks. What's up, yo?
What are we talking about now, Taco?
It's got to be Force Awakens. If it isn't, I'm leaving.
It's got to be Force Awakens.
Oh, my God. You're not doing this to me a third time.
It's Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, my. What is happening here? What is happening here?
Fuck!
We're being trolled.
No!
Being trolled.
No!
7.5. And the final of the prequel movies just misses out on the top 3.
Guys, let's get this under 5 minutes. All right. I don't want to be here for more than 5 minutes talking about Force Awakens. What haven't we not said about it yet? Like,
we're not on Force Awakens, Taco.
We're on Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, whatever. I hate it all. It's dumb.
I gotta say, I love Order 66. Order 66 is an amazing thing. I love whenever it comes up. It may be my favorite thing. My wife tells me that I'm a bad person for loving Order 66, but I love it.
Order 66 is not just great, but it's now become this great treasure trove for new Star Wars properties to revisit. I mean, if you watched Fallen Order, if you played Fallen Order, that pops up. It is traumatic, and it does pop up in some more Star Wars content. I don't want to say, but. Every time, even in the Clone Wars, when we finally wraps up, that moment when Order 66 happens, when you have gone through 7 seasons with these clone troopers, learning their personalities and their own maybe desires and how they're treating the galaxy, and then when Order 66 happens, it makes it such like a big tragic story from a hero's journey mythology or a big Shakespearean tragedy. That you can see where George Lucas wanted to go with Star Wars, trying to make it as this great new hero's tale or this brand new mythology for kids. And now, for us, most of us as adults, we're seeing it. I mean, the fact that hopefully all this new Disney content coming out, when we get to see more words and perspectives. Oh, and I will say one thing about this film. I saw this film twice in theaters, and I teared up both times when Padme died. She may have not been the most beloved character, but I was big into Natalie Portman around those times. So when she died at those moments, and then the scene of her being carted, her funeral on Naboo, and of course the transition with Vader, it just made me develop an even deeper hate towards that character of Vader.
Ben, Revenge of the Sith. This is a good one.
No, this isn't a good one. This is a great fucking movie. I'm sorry. I love this movie. It is my number 3 of the Star Wars movie. The drama, the action, the turmoil, the visual effects. I love this movie. That final lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin, one of my top 3 lightsaber duels in all of Star Wars. This movie is great. It's a travesty that it's so low on the tier ranking thing. I don't know what you guys are smoking. I love this movie.
I am so glad that we're able to elicit such a great response for the prequels.
Probably it's not the good. It's just not the good stuff, Ben. That's what they're smoking. It's not the good stuff.
Taco, have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Yeah, I read the books.
I was throwing it to you. You could have.
Oh, that was a question. I mean, I don't hate this movie. I don't love it the way that other people do. this has a lot of the same prequel traps. God, that dialogue is so. You're breaking my heart. There's just so many really. No, it's because I'm so in love with you. There's just so really bad lines in this freaking movie, and also it's the first of many. Like, did George watch the original movies? Because that's not what happened. Like, there's like, hey, do you remember your mother? Yes, your original mother, or your real mother, your birth mother. Yeah, she was really sad, and I remember her. Really, because just a freaking Polis Mason dude just goes, ugh, and she said Leia, and then she never saw you again. Like, there is I'm sorry, but like, when I was in the theater, I was like, she's supposed to meet. No, they have a relationship. Leia and Padme have a relationship. I've seen the movie, George. I've watched your movies. I know this. And that was one of now hundreds, thanks to the sequel trilogy, and like movies in between where I'm like, they haven't seen their own movies, guys. But it was the first time. Lightsaber battles. You know how I feel about lightsaber battles. This movie really cemented a lot of lightsaber form techniques, like it perfected just so much, and seeing that on screen, seeing Cerriso used against Grievous, seeing how the most powerful Gen So fighter, suitless Darth Vader, fighting the best Cerriso guy. Obi-Wan Kenobi is just like a unstoppable force on movable objects. Like, there's a lot of really cool lightsaber stuff going on. The dialogue is prequel dialogue, and I hate it. But there is amazing set pieces. There's just a lot of really good stuff here. Just like what I was saying with Force Awakens. Or not Force Awakens, sorry. Can we not talk about it? Phantom Menace. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I like here. I don't want to go on forever just because we can't go on forever. Yeah. I feel like this movie feels really long, but it was the first movie we've ever got with like 5 lightsaber fights. Like, they used to just save them for the end, but this one, like, almost every scene was like somebody talking, like, and also, boom, like, there's also a fight at like the end of every scene in this movie.
Murray, now I don't mean to pigeonhole you into what you want to say here, but could you tell me, there's a character we've barely brought up in this movie that I think really elevates this film. What's up with General Grievous? What's up with that guy?
See, I actually love General Grievous.
Oh, me too.
I do too.
Okay. Yeah, I think he is wonderful, and I really enjoyed him in Clone Wars too. And so I will say, when I was in theaters watching this, I saw the midnight premiere with my little brother dressed up as my Padawan, complete with the little braid. It was wonderful. After that first like 15 minutes where it's like slapstick comedy, we looked at each other and we're like, what just happened? But then after watching the whole movie, I was like, okay, this is my number one. And Revenge of the Sith is my number one favorite Star Wars movie for years and years and years. And then Rogue One came out. But after that, it took me rewatching them in the order that I loved them to realize I liked Attack of the Clones more than Revenge of the Sith.
God, you're so weird.
But
sorry, I said the quiet part out loud again.
But I do really enjoy how Revenge of the Sith is, again, this shows like the kind of Star Wars movie I like. It's very dark, and I like that. I like the darkness. I like getting into the reality of life and people dealing with really hard things. And so I adore Revenge of the Sith for sure.
But what about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
That's a great line.
It's where that was Yeti Mundi. That is not what we were talking about. We were talking about Anakin. You just had to get that in.
Yeti Mundi's thinking about his multiple wives and how he's the only Jedi that can get laid, and he just stunts on them constantly.
Yeah, I like this movie a lot. I think it's got, even with Rogue One and Return of the Jedi, I think it's got the opening Star War at the beginning, as I call it, like where they're flying through the sky.
That's the way a Star Wars movie should open. It was with a mini movie with a lot of explosions.
Yeah, I love that. I love that the first word in the crawl is war. I love that. Immediately, I'm like, oh, wow. Oh, stuff's happening. I love all that. I love Grievous and his Magna Guards by Ryan. He was I love that General Grievous's ship is called the Invisible Hand.
Heck yeah.
It's like the invisible hand of capitalism and politics, and I love that. It's fantastic. I love it. I really like this movie a lot, and I love similar to what we talked about with Christopher Lee. Ian McDermott's having a great time.
Yeah. The fact that the first time or second time, I guess, Darth Maul, but like the first time we see like straight up Zhuyo, the most aggressive lightsaber form ever used, it's Ian McDermott going,
and the most fun he's having is when Sam Jackson's gonna take him down. He's like, no, Anakin, I'm just an old man and I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh. It's like, you're shooting Force lightning out of your hands right now. You can't be that weak.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But
all right. Screw off, Ben.
Ben, what's coming up next?
Okay.
It has to be.
And it has to be Force Awakens.
It has to be.
I will leave. If Empire is behind Force Awakens, I am leaving. I am not bluffing. Dave. If Empire is before, damn it, I am leaving. I am not bluffing.
It's Force Awakens.
Thank God.
At
7.7, Force Awakens cracking the top 3. Congratulations.
Doesn't deserve it at all. He does not deserve it at all. Not even the frickin' sequel apologist doesn't think so.
This is my third favorite Star Wars movie.
You're a horrible piece of crap.
I like this movie a lot. I like this. I think has the best opening in any Star Wars movie. I love the little bit with Poe.
Oh my God, you're so wrong.
You know, it's an opinion.
It's a bad one.
That opening, we get so much symbolism and like visual storytelling with Finn in seeing like the handprint coming down, and when he takes off his helmet and stuff. It's all fantastic. And also, it's hard to take yourself out of when you're watching that. And if you can just delete 8 and 9 from your brain, you're like, wow, they've got something cooking here. They're going to do some stuff with Phasma. Kylo Ren, he's going to shake things up. Oh my God, Rey's going to be trained by Luke. This is fantastic. I love all of this. It's great. We love it, right? Right, Ben?
Can I say something? Please?
Yeah, please. Please do it.
All right, when this movie came out, I really, really enjoyed it. I still think it's a well-made movie. I do. But 8 and 9 made this movie so unwatchable for me. Because it had so much potential that goes nowhere. And
that's not its fault.
Oh, it's J.J. Abrams' fault.
Okay.
Yeah, fight me, Dave.
And whatever. Yeah, it's a good movie. I can't watch it again because it's too much wasted potential. Too much.
Yeah.
I think that this is how to do a soft reboot. But it's so window dressing. It's so salt and pepper. It's so seasoning. Like, this movie has like no calories. That's my problem with it. It's very flashy and it's very cute and it's very fun and it's very quippy and it's a Marvel movie kinda, but it just has no meat and potatoes. And I know you want to give it to Marie, but I had to get that out of there.
That's okay.
That's all I want to say about it. Rey has one moment that I love in this movie is when Rey puts the Rebel helmet on when she's eating. And it's just because she's just such a good actress. She's just so good. And besides that, this movie is a lot of like, to me, there's some stuff I like. It does not belong in the top 3, and it definitely doesn't belong over Jedi. All right, Marie.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, or Revenge of the Sith. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've already said what I think about this movie a couple
You wanted
times.
this movie to be 11th.
But it should have been personally like way lower. Because I hate
Who are these people?
I hate having this opinion because I feel like I'm one of those like super negative fanboys or whatever by saying this, but it's true. Force Awakens is A New Hope, but shinier. Like I wanted them to do something different. I wanted them to go a new direction, take the story, take chances, take risks. And there weren't any risks. And that drove me crazy. And I was just like, what is happening? And then I had a thought. What was my thought?
You've changed your mind. You love this movie.
but I will say, I like every Star Wars movie. I don't love this movie, but I like it. So Phasma, that was the thing. So Phasma, I bought her Funko Pop. I bought a cup. I bought a poster. Like, I was obsessed. I was like, Phasma is going to be so awesome. A female stormtrooper captain. This is incredible. And then they did nothing with her, and they just like Chewie hits her, and like they force her to betray her people, and I'm just like, what? No. Like that made me so mad. I have since gotten rid of the poster. I have considered getting rid of the Funko Pop. Like, I'm just
Wow.
That's bold.
Wow. Real
so
spit.
Irritating.
Wow.
The Phasma book was good. Okay, yes, Jekka. The Phasma book was really enjoyable. It was bizarre, but I loved it. So yeah, but the other thing is about the Phasma novel, it made me hate Phasma because she is out for herself. She doesn't care about her like family. She doesn't care about the society she's a part of. She doesn't care about the organization she's a part of. She just doesn't care. She is out for herself.
She's nothing like Brianna Tarth.
Do you guys remember the rumor at the time?
The first order.
Do you guys remember? And it's hard to like throw yourself back there, but everyone had like their own thoughts about like, why is she all chrome? It's like, her armor is made from a Naboo starfighter. Oh my God, Captain Phasma's a Gungan. Do you guys remember that?
No.
What? No.
Yeah. What off-brand freaking internet stuff were you watching?
A lot of people look it up.
I was watching old school Schmoes No Show when these first trailers were coming out, and I remember Knapsack preaching on how awesome Phasma was going to be, and I bought all of it.
People were thinking it's like she's real tall and she's chrome. She looks like Padme's cruiser, and it's like.
So she's a cruiser, you say?
And they were like, wait, a human couldn't be that tall.
Wait.
She must be a Gungan.
She's a Nubian. Watto has lots of that.
Sorry, Maria. I wanted to make sure that I got that out before we moved on.
Can we move on? Oh, my God.
Ryan, what do you think about Force Awakens?
I will be very quick with Force Awakens. I will say, I too, like Marie, I was looking for this to go in a different direction. I understand they were trying to softly reboot, and they were doing their own version of A New Hope to get fans back, to bring back fans. But the marketing really put this into a bit of a letdown, especially, look, from the marketing early on, we saw what they were doing with Boyega's character with Finn. Mm-hmm. Putting him right there in the front of it. From that teaser, you see, you talk about some of the hate that was thrown some of Star Wars characters. I mean, Boyega had so much hate just for being a black man in a stormtrooper outfit. And that was only the crux of what we get from this fandom afterwards. Then we see the tease of him holding a lightsaber, and then him on posters with that lightsaber, thinking, oh, he's a Force sensitive, and then have the film going like, he's not Force sensitive, it's Rey. I'm like, I would have loved to have had it been both Rey and Finn who were Force sensitive, but Rey was the stronger one. That's why she's able to, command the Force and go against Kylo. That was my big takeaway from it. Like, Finn, you see him start off from being someone who develops a conscience, and then have it go from where, yes, he's making bad choices. I get it. He's away from the First Order. He's on his own. I get that. But everything else in the movie is trying to move it so fast. Oh, here's our brand new empire, the First Order. Here's Death Star. Here's Starkiller Base. Like, everything rehash.
Yeah.
Where's the originality? And the only thing that was original was Luke not saying a damn thing at the end.
And that's why I liked what Rian Johnson did originally, because he's the first time in Last Jedi compared to this, he actually changed something and made a decision. This movie makes no decisions. It's so much of the same freaking thing. But yeah. I mean, we're at 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm gonna get some really angry wifing here soon, and we got two horrible movies to talk about.
Now, I just final thought on Force Awakens.
I have the high ground. Number one.
Thank you.
Oh shit, he's got the high ground.
Dude, you underestimate Force Awakens' power. All right,
Murray.
It's a Revenge of the Sith quote.
What?
Do you get it, Ryan?
I got it.
Yeah, I got it.
What is the second best, and what is the top rated Star Wars? Well, what are we talking about next? But also, only 2 movies left, and I don't think anyone would have been shocked by these 2 movies being the 2.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
I'm okay with it.
It's fine. It's fine.
Whatever.
We'll put up with it.
But I'm assuming it's A New Hope.
For the first time since Taco guessed Attack of the Clones, someone's gotten it right, and it is A New Hope, coming in at 8.3.
You put it in the wrong spot.
Oh, I am. Oh,
you put it behind Force Awakens, and I clenched my fist for that one.
Coming in at 8.3 out of 10.
Wow.
New Hope. It's Star Wars.
Yeah,
Murray.
It's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars. What can we say?
Yeah, of course I loved it, but it's never been my favorite. Never. Like, I'm glad, obviously, that it exists because everything came from it. So of course I'm happy about it. Yeah. But it's so linear in its storytelling that there's not enough going on to hold my interest. And it's fine. Like, but I like it better than Force Awakens.
Everyone's happy Force Awakens is off the board.
Thank God. Why are we still talking about it? Moving on.
Taco.
All right. Well, this is another George Lucas movie. The script isn't as bad, in my opinion. There is some George Lucas-y, like, very wooden dialogue in here. Especially as much as I love this movie, and I do have to look at it from a critical standpoint, but there is some wooden dialogue like, now I am the master, only a master of evil, Darth. Like, it's very like, I like, now that line's iconic and we love it. And I love it. I love every line of this movie, but it's very wooden dialogue, a lot of very wooden dialogue. I feel, again, I'm going to talk about pacing. I feel like the movie ends to me, like, every time I see it, I always am surprised that there's more. After they free Leia and get her off the Death Star and land, and it's like, all right, let's attack the Death Star. I'm like, oh yeah, I always forget that it keeps going. Because it feels like that was the third act. And then they're like, you guys ready for the third act? I'm like, what was the third? Just saw the third act. You guys got on the Death Star. We saw Vader fought old Ben. That was the third act. Wait, there's a whole other thing? Why is Porkins dying randomly? But
Abe Porkins.
Yeah, for real. For no reason. He just like falls or something. He's too heavy. They don't explain. They just, what happened to him? But
the turbo.
Okay,
everything need answers.
all that negative that I had, which wasn't a lot, even though there's pacing and some one dialogue, and you could tell that Allen Guinness is too busy turning and asking his accountant, how much they pay me to say this stuff? All right. Because he is so not in this movie. He's not in any of these movies. Allen Guinness does not give a crap about these movies. But it's very much like, can you really hate the first rock band? Can you really hate the the masters painters? Can you really hate the things that led to it still birthed this world, and it still birthed the world that I've been obsessed with. I'm a 33-year-old man, and I'm gonna disown my daughter if she doesn't like Star Wars. Something I already told my wife. It could be worse, but yeah, what if she's not gonna be? I'm not gonna tell her those exist.
Wow.
Yeah. When she brings him in, I'm gonna throw him away and say, I don't know what happened to you.
I'm hoping your daughter now hates Star Wars just to piss you off.
Probably. She might be a Harry Potter person like her mom, but
yeah,
no, it's not bad. I'm okay with Harry. I'm okay with. I mean, I married a Harry Potter head, and she married a Star Wars head, and we do not cross streams much. We stay in our lanes. but anyways, there's not a lot of negative besides this like technical things, and I do love this whole franchise. I love how it was made. Just the production of this movie, of how they're just in the middle of the desert and there's a bunch of dudes wearing like freaking short pink shorts with afros, wearing no shirts, holding the mic. Like, it's made by like the D team of like they invented, like Industrial Light Magic had to be invented for this movie to happen. Yeah. Like special effects had to be like concepted before they could get made, before this movie can happen. And there's just so many important technical things that this movie did. Movies now sound a certain way because of Star Wars. Movies now look a certain way because of Star Wars. Thousands of movies are affected by this one movie. And that's just something that you have to look at. You have to say Led Zeppelin's the best rock. You've got to say it's an amazing band, even if you don't love them, because what they did, the rock and roll, and that's what Star Wars did. And I do love Led Zeppelin, but I'm just saying, like, this is like the Led Zeppelin of movies. Is even if you don't love it, you have to say there wouldn't be so many other franchises and so many other movies. Blockbusters didn't exist before Star Wars. Like, what? So yeah.
Ryan,
that's all I got.
Ryan Payne, A New Hope, eh?
I understand some of your comments on the pacing issues, Taco, but if you had actually seen A New Hope the way George wanted it to be done, this film would have had so much bigger pacing issues than what you're mentioning. It's a mirror. This film, I've watched behind the scenes of this movie on how it was a nightmare for George to do because no one had faith in him, and he was put on a thread. And the fact he was able to do it.
Ben, what are you telling? I think we've lost Ryan.
I think Ryan died. So you get to defying me, Ryan.
I love this movie. Imperfection. The characters, the world building. This is my favorite Star Wars movie. Vader is Prime Vader in this. Even though it's not the flashiest lightsaber fight, I love the Vader and Obi-Wan lightsaber fight. I love this movie. It's 11 out of 10. Perfection. A+. This is my Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I gotta say, every moment still hits for me. Whether it's Luke looking at the twin suns, the first time they go into hyperspace.
Oh, that song.
Oh, yeah. And no matter what it is, every moment still hits for me exactly the way it's supposed to hit. Like, and that is just a magical thing that a movie that was released so long ago, and I've seen countless times, can still have that effect. And like every time I see Han Solo for the first time, I'm like, this guy, he's got the sauce. I like this guy. And it's a miracle. What Ryan was saying, it's a miracle that this movie exists.
For real. Yeah.
And like the Death Star blowing up planets and stuff, like that's just like an iconic thing now in fiction in general. And the idea of an empire in general is just so permeated into our culture now that the effects of this movie cannot go underappreciated.
Oh, for sure.
But it can be the second best Star Wars movie, apparently, because there's one movie that's better than this.
Is it Force Awakens? Is it Force Awakens?
I didn't have one last thing to say about
All right,
New
you
Hope.
say one last thing?
McClunky. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh my god!
Saw that coming.
Clunky.
Yes.
All right.
Sorry, I do like that you guys are saying no. Like Lucas tried to ruin this more, and they didn't let. Yeah, but then he went and did the special editions and totally ruined it more. I'm kidding.
That's fair.
All right,
Ryan,
what's this movie?
Ryan's back. Do you have any final thoughts on New Hope?
I want to go to bed, Ryan. You breathe.
Don't say that because I'll make this go longer just so you don't have to go to bed. No, look, I will say this movie, and on paper and during execution, looked like it was not going to work. But the fact that it did, it has all this great technical achievements. The shooting, I mean, the score from John Williams. I mean, you listen to so many podcasts, so many different behind the scenes talking about how this film looked like it was a disaster, but it came out looking so good. But also, I mean, the performances through Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill and James Earl Jones' voice was just so. Those are the three that hooked me into this film. Going in, seeing how Carrie Fisher is just putting so much of her energy into Leia, the fact that she holds, and the fact that Leia, she's not seen as some damsel in distress. She really is someone who is taking charge.
She is prompted as that because they have to go save her, and then the second they get her, it flips your expectations. It's so good.
She's
way more capable. You see what happens. She can improvise. But even when she's captured, she's not letting her captors take power over her.
Yeah.
I mean, if Tarkin wasn't being such an asshole, Alderaan would have been saved. He would have been like, okay, you gave me Dantooine, let's fly there instead. But, then Tarkin's like, nope, we're just going to destroy Alderaan. And luck by happens, it happens. But also, Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan, before Yoda, he was definitely my best example of a mentor. Someone who was full of wisdom. Mm-hmm. Before the new Disney crap changed that stupid how he does. I'm going, wait, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Wait, what are you talking about?
When Luke is attacked by the Sand People and then Obi-Wan shows up, in the unaltered cuts, he does like a that. But then in the Disney Plus versions, he is. Oh, I can't describe it. It is just irritating. Like, it's not that sound. It's meant to sound like a crate dragon, which is stupid.
Okay.
I love it. You know what I love even more?
Empire Strikes Back?
We love The Force Awakens. Let's talk about that.
Oh, my God.
No.
We don't talk about The Force Awakens.
It is Empire Strikes Back coming in at 8.8, which means it will not crack into the S tier rankings here.
Can we just put it there anyways?
That's not how the game is played.
Then we need to rig the game. We need to change the rules because this is
can you just take the lowest and put it in D and take the highest and put it in A and so you have one and all? Come on.
No. 8.8. Well, because eventually I'd like to do a show where we just
all of them,
all the S tier movies, which so far are just Batman Begins and Dark Knight. But
Empire Strikes Back is better than both those movies. I love both those movies, but Empire Strikes Back is better.
But Empire Strikes Back. This is a great movie.
It's one of my favorites of all time.
Lando Calrissian might be one of my favorite fictional characters of all time.
You double-crossing no good swindler. You got a lot of guts coming here after what you pulled.
I love him, and he makes a great movie perfect. Ben, why do you hate this film?
Oh, it's terrible. The pacing is wrong. Bad dialogue, the script is terrible. This is the worst movie I have ever seen.
Not to mention the pacing.
This movie is great. I mean, one can... You said everything, Dave. This movie is amazing. Incredible all around. 10 out of 10. I thought it would be S-tier, but A-tier, perfect with me. I love this movie. And no, I am your father.
Oh, so good. Shocked a 6-year-old Dave. I was like, oh my God. That's crazy. Marie?
Yeah.
The pacing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's one of the best movies of all time.
The wooden dialogue.
It really
the wooden dialogue.
Okay, so Empire Strikes Back.
You're gonna get payback at me for all the things I said about Rise of Skywalker and all the sequel. You're gonna get payback right now.
I don't understand why everybody rates it number one.
I can explain it to you.
Get it? Like it's a good movie. I enjoy it. Obviously, when I saw A New Hope first. And then Empire Strikes Back second, and I was like, oh, I like this better than A New Hope. It was my favorite movie for a couple hours until I watched Return of the Jedi. And then Return of the Jedi was my favorite.
Wow.
So it's great, but I don't get it. I don't know why it's always number one.
Taco.
Put me in, coach. Just give me a chance.
Taco.
No, there's a lot writing on it, but it's all psychological.
Go on.
Okay. This is. I want to go to bed, and I want to talk about this movie for an hour. Everything from I'll grab 3 things. All right, that's it. Okay. Everything else I also love, but let's talk set design, pacing, and script. All right. First off, not directed by George Lucas. Yay. His original script, by the way, Lucas's original, holy crap, bad. Okay, moving on. Vader's Castle, really? That's what we're doing here. All right. So what did I say first? Set design?
Yeah.
Dagobah literally was built in this giant freaking warehouse, and it was a working ecosystem. So they built a forest, loaded it with animals and insects and more animals and more animals, and then raised it like 6 feet with all that nasty crap dripping, and Frank Oz had to be under it to puppet a freaking puppet. That right there is like, give these guys a freaking Oscar. Like, what are they? They made a living, working ecosystem. And then they're like, Frank Oz, get in there.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that is actually it. I do love that. It's Audio Ginger. That beat will get any Nickelback song out of your head. I've tested it. But
I'm Canadian,
not to mention
there all day.
Yeah, I bet. By the way, Rush is better. It's also your guys'.
I know.
Just go back to Rush. You don't need
Rush.
Bieber and you don't need Nickelback. You have Rush and Alanis Morissette. Stop looking. You're fine. But Yoda's monologue, one of my favorite monologues of all time, period. The way that Frank Oz delivers adventure, excitement to Jedi craze, not these things. For years, I've watched this one, looked away at the horizon, to the future, like all of it. That monologue, I just butchered it, but it's so freaking good. Yeah, so the set design of Dagobah, the way that Cloud City looks, the fact that we're seeing a gas giant planet just was so cool when I first realized, like, oh, this is a planet like Jupiter and it's inhabited. It's so cool. Like, how did they think about inhabiting? Like, that was a really cool set design. All right, now moving on to pacing. On paper, this pacing does not work. Okay, it's the exact same pacing almost as Last Jedi. It's half of the cast is running from the Empire, and it doesn't stop. They run for the Empire the entire movie. A lot of times they're just hanging out on an asteroid or literally parked on a Star Destroyer, which also blew my little mind. I loved it.
Yeah.
As you have the hero character goes and finds the old mentor, and the old mentor teaches him. So it's a lot of the same pacing beats, and it doesn't feel like it should work, right? Because at this whole time you're flipping back to like Luke meditating, and then you're flipping back to this awesome chase through space. And if I told you scene structure, you would be confused. Like, you'd be like, this is how we're structuring it. Yeah. But the fact that the script never lets up, it never stops. Every scene's a banger. It just goes bam, 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 bam. And before you know it, you're at that amazing lightsaber fight at the end. And you're at that amazing subverting expectations. And that goes me back to the script of no one saw that coming. Not even the actors who were part of it. 3 people knew that Vader was Luke's father. All of that, Hamill's performance, it like his no. Come on, watch that and not feel something. It is so insane. Good, that was good. But yeah, there is. I really could talk forever about this movie. I just wanted to talk about those 3 things. And when it comes to filmmaking, I think this is the best made Star Wars film, period. It might not do a lot for the lore, like a lot of the other movies that I love, but I don't know. I think it's just so amazing, and it sticks to me. I've seen it hundreds of times, and I still watch it on my birthday every year. And yeah, it's very, I love it. I think it's a 10 out of 10, and I've given like 5 movies 10 out of 10s, and one of them is this movie.
Mr. Ryan Payne, Empire Strikes Back, number 1.
I say it's number 1. I mean, because from a filmmaking standpoint, it was able to improve on what the original had set up. It was able to continue it, but like, I mean, Taco, your example of the Dagobah, the whole set of Dagobah itself, it shows like the dedication that was made into the sequel, but also just the new creative direction. I mean, the different creative direction they went into this. I mean, I like the idea that this is the moment where they deliver on the title, The Empire Strikes Back. This is not something to where our heroes are going to be pushed up against the wall, but through luck or by the skin of their teeth, they're going to survive. No, the odds are too stacked against them. This is where everything, no matter how hard they try, is just not working. And I like how they struggle from Han struggling just to get the hyperdrive to be activated, and to even Luke struggling to understand the Force, really going against everything that Yoda is trying. Well, not everything, but he's mentally going against what Yoda is trying to teach him. And even then, what Yoda is trying to teach him doesn't ultimately save him. It's because of Luke's genuine connections to others is what saves him. It's because he is Vader's son is why Vader doesn't kill him. It is because his strong connection to Leia and the fact that Leia happens to be Force sensitive, which was a great reveal from when Yoda said there is another. I like the fact that it was teasing that if Luke was not going to be the Hope, guess what? Leia was. And there was
the other Hope
proof. And there was so much setup from A New Hope that Leia could be the next, could be the one to bring balance. So I liked how it was like Luke failed, but through his failure, we discovered that there is still hope out there through his connection with Leia, being saved. And a quote, I can't remember if it came across a video essay when it came about The Empire Strikes Back. It said that some movies, the quote, if I recall from this essay, was some films can age like wine, can only be enjoyed by people who learn to acquire its taste. But some films can be like water. It can be exactly what it can be, shapeless, it can be formless, but everyone drinks the water. And Empire Strikes Back feels like it's one of those films to where it may not be enjoyed by everyone else, but it's like water to where everyone can at least take it in and enjoy certain aspects of it.
Yeah, I agree. And like to Taco's point earlier, and to like, you guys have really shaped a great image of Empire Strikes Back. I just want to shout out, and I know we are running long, so we're going to wrap this up in just a minute. I love the whole sequence with Yoda where Luke meets him, is like, oh man, you're going to take me to Yoda? And Yoda's just being a weird little kooky character. It's like, oh yes, let's go to see Yoda. Oh, I love it. And then the point comes where he just drops the act and just starts talking directly to Obi-Wan. It's like, this isn't the guy. This is the guy. And like it was said in the chat earlier, Yoda wanted Leia, and it's obvious why. Like he doesn't want Luke. Luke sucks. That guy's the worst.
He's too much emotion. Too much emotion, Luke.
But yeah, and
too much like
that facade that drops, and then just the Yoda we see going forward, that created like a whole subsection of characters in fiction that we would see going forward. And now it's why every time you play a video game, every old person has to talk in riddles because of fucking Yoda. And now nobody can give you a straight answer. It's like, could you just tell me to not take my gun because I gotta have emotional stuff happen to me? No, you give me all these metaphors? I don't want metaphors.
No, is that like Nintendo Son has to wax on and wax off?
Yeah, that's
Mike.
All right. So hopefully Taco will rejoin us before the end of the show where we can do plugs and stuff. But just to run through thank you everyone for joining us so far, or for the show. We had other questions in the survey. We're not going to get to those because we have talked a lot tonight. But just to run through the list of films from top to bottom to top again. Starting at the bottom, we had the Clone Wars movie, Attack of the Clones, and then Rise of Skywalker in the C tier. I know Marie Wilson was very upset with that. Solo, the little movie that could get so far up. Last Jedi, Rogue One, probably the most shocking moment of the whole series until Force Awakens got to third place. And Phantom Menace closing out the B tier. Then finally in the A tier, we have Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, everyone's favorite, Force Awakens, A New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back, rounding out the A tier. Guys, this was so much fun, and thank you all for joining me on this crazy adventure. I'm just gonna come to you and tell me where the people can find you. Ben, where can the good people find you online?
Oh, you're nodding with me. Okay.
You're right here on my left, so like obviously.
Okay, that sounds good. You can find me at my YouTube channel, The Multiverse of Kingdom, every Monday on Dissecting the Sworn every Tuesday on all the Star Wars channel show, Jedi Academy. We're doing a special 2-hour episode tomorrow night recapping all our celebration. So come check that out. Every Friday on Weekly Kingdom. Every Sunday on Unwind with Ben. You can find me right here on the Northern Entertainment Group every Thursday on Rewind That Tape, and every Saturday morning on Northern Countdown. I think that's everything.
Is that it?
The plug. Maybe I should have come to you last.
Yeah.
But Marie Wilson, where can the good people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Alia Morgaine, and I have a review blog, Star Wars review blog at thestarwarsreview.blogspot.com, where I mostly recently review comics, but I'll review literally anything, including children's picture books. So it's everything canon. And then, of course, I have my queer Star Wars YouTube channel at Afra's Artifacts on YouTube. And this Monday at 6 p.m. Central is when I post my videos. It is going to be a review of Dr. Aphra number 20.
Man, I really thought for a second, not to spoil Obi-Wan, I really thought it was going to be Dr. Aphra and the hologram. I really thought that's who it was going to be. Taco!
Marie, can I get an Aphra's Artifact shirt, please? XL? I really want one. I didn't know you had them. I didn't know you had them. I want one.
Yeah.
I like 100%. I'm not kidding. I want one. XL. I'm a big guy. I really wanted to hear what the other questions were because I know at least one person who like answered them funny. I wanted to see what our reactions are going to be. But
you talked too long about Last Jedi?
Okay, well, we talked too long about it a lot. We talked very long. All right, and here I am talking long right now. You'll find me on my channel is Something to Talk About. I try to do a video a week. I've been and I also do. All right, sorry, I'm tired. Been doing deep dive analysis. I did one on Wayne's World, which was my last one. I broke down the history of Wayne's World, how it was made, why it was made, how I feel about it, looking back at it from today's eyes, all that stuff. I also looked at every single episode of Avatar: Last Airbender, so check those out. We've been doing a show called the Geek Gauntlet, which I believe a couple people on here have been on before, and our next one will be on June 11th, and it's going to be nothing but demigods, and it's going to be really awesome. We might have Maui from Moana in it, and we might have the MCU Thor in it, and that's going to be really fun. That'll be June 11th. And I do a awesome show with Marie Wilson called Let's Talk About Star Wars. We did one yesterday, and we do them on the Fridays that we can, at least 2 a month. And we have one next Friday where we will be looking at ecosystems of Star Wars. We have 2 different ecologists, one of them being Marie, and another one, Amazing Nerf Herder, will be on talking about the ecosystems of different planets, 5 different planets. And that's it. Did I beat Ben? I tried to beat Ben. Did I?
Ryan Van, what about you?
Find me on Twitter, Bartaco Face. Done.
Well, mine's gonna be quick. Right, people can just follow me on Twitter with Caramel_Pain. That's my username. I don't use it a lot, but every now and then if you just want something of yours, like comment on or retweet it, then just make sure you follow me and I'll follow you back. I currently, right now, the only thing I have content I'm producing is just a wrestling podcast that's available on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. It's called Wrestling Ramblings and Rages Podcast. Myself and my 2 other co-hosts, Brenton McPherson and James Chimo, we take wrestling news, or we do topics, or we do reviews of wrestling pay-per-views, or sometimes predictions list of wrestling. I won't say it's 24/7 wrestling, but when we put up an episode, trust me, we're gonna either rant, ramble, or just rage over whatever it kind of just gets us, whoever gets in our craw. I'm trying to think of funny wrestling terminology, but I can't right now because I'm also tired.
You used a lot of R's in a row, though. That was pretty good. Rant, ramble, a rage over wrestling. That's a definite.
Yes.
That works. Almost alliteration.
So hopefully coming up soon, we're going to be, the 3 of us, we're going to do a review of AEW's Double or Nothing, which is going to happen on Sunday. So most likely on Monday or Wednesday, we'll have an episode out by the end of this month, or in June, of our review of that pay-per-view.
That's fantastic. I don't have any plugs except to say subscribe to the Northern Entertainment Group. Follow us on Twitter. And, watch everything we do, or, just give it a like if you can't watch it. Really helps out. Last thing I want to say about this is thank you to everyone for joining me. And, Taco, you were interested in the survey questions, the extra survey questions. The one I will get to is the favorite lightsaber color. 37% of people said their favorite lightsaber color was blue.
Yeah. No.
That was the highest percentage.
Was I the only guy who said purple?
No, there was a good purple was next at 27%. Only 5% for yellow. And you know what? I'm happy. My 5%. We know who we are.
Purple in the house.
All right. From all of us here on Northern Countdown and Northern Entertainment Group, have a wonderful night.